Episode 12 of Paper Mountains Podcast. Here we are. We're back at it again after a little bit of a break. But today, I'm talking to another one of my great friends, Austin Etzler. Austin majored in civil engineering at Valparaiso University. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Call it Valpo.
Valpo University, where he became an All-American college football star and heartthrob to women all across the country. He has his PE license, loves taking his boat out on the lake, and is slated to get married to his fiancée, Anna, in a few months from now. I have tremendous respect for Austin. He is a no bullshit type of person, and he will tell you his thoughts and perspective in a way that is raw as it gets. This is especially refreshing in the corporate setting where we both work, and I'm sure that his personality will make this conversation a great time. Please welcome Austin Etzler.
Woo! Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Oh yeah, finally.
Let's do another cheers.
I say it's been a couple back and forths and bailouts, but here we are.
I know. How you feeling today?
Feeling good. I think if you're gonna call me out for getting married in a couple months, you might need an announcement to make here too.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. Alaska's a wild place.
About my engagement?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to make it's on social media.
All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, I guess
congrats.
I guess I'm engaged as well. We have no official date as of yet, so we're still in the early stages.
Yep.
You were engaged for a while, weren't you?
2 years. I remember the early stages like it was yesterday.
So let's go into that a little bit. What's running through your head coming up on a wedding and getting married? How you feeling about this?
I'm personally ready to get it over with. I've been ready to get married for a while. I think we both have. I think there's a difference with how males look at the marriage situation compared to females. It's it's a really big day for Anna. For me, I'm just ready to get married and start moving on with life. So
yeah, you guys been together for a while, ain't you?
Yeah, I think I want to say it's been over 7 years. I think, yeah, because we were dating before I was even able to drink. So
nice,
27.
Man.
So yeah, it's been a solid 7 years.
Yeah, that's good.
Goes quick.
I mean, I videotaped because of you and your help. I videotaped your brother's wedding. So I have all of the footage recollection of that party. So I'm assuming that your wedding is going to be just as much of a party, if not more. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the plan. It was some good times. Actually, my brother wasn't even going to have a videographer. I think we told you all this stuff. We took Jake on a special sit-down dinner, me, Anna, and Jake at Texas Roadhouse over a couple margaritas and talked him into filming my brother's wedding and gave it to him as a wedding gift the wedding party did. And it still gets talked about all the time. We sit down and watch it at parties, and yeah,
you've watched it more than once?
Oh yeah. It's a big hit. The first time I saw it, I was in tears laughing. It was great. They absolutely love it. So nice. Shout out to Jake and his videography skills.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you're seeing it firsthand now. We're all set up recording this bad boy.
Yeah, this is a lot more than I thought it was. I didn't notice all the stuff that's not in the screen. That's what it takes to make this an event. It's pretty serious.
Yeah. Hey man, it's for you. We're pals, and we've been talking about doing this for fucking couple months now.
Yeah.
And document some of your perspective in life. Something you can sit down and look back in 20 years and see how bad your thoughts and ideas were.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be proving myself wrong here in 20 years for sure.
If you can't hear the dog squeaky toy in the background.
Yeah, she's very involved. She likes to be right in front center of attention. She's kind of worked up that we're not all about her right now, but she'll get over it.
So what else is going on in your life, man? 27 years old, recently got your PE license.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Not too much, just really preparing for the wedding, and I'm living life. We're pretty active. We do a lot of travel and try to do as much as we can, make use of our time. If I got to pull this squeaky toy away.
Go nab it from her.
Come here. But sorry about that.
That's all good, man. Oh, she's going back for it.
She'll never stop. Come here. Come here. She knows what she's doing. Sit. Is that going to mess anything up?
No, you're good.
All right. We got her distracted for a little bit. But yeah, just, hopefully home ownership and getting ready for the wedding's a big thing. We've got a couple other weddings this year that we're going to and doing the bachelor parties and bachelorette parties and all that stuff. So just keeping busy.
Yeah.
Living life.
What I know it doesn't cross my mind too often to get my PE license, but you were hard away studied on this bad boy for a while. What was the driver for going through and doing this?
I think it's more of a personal thing than professional thing. Like where we work doesn't necessarily make it a huge deal. I wouldn't say that they encourage you to do it if you want, but I think for me it was just one of those things I wanted to do to say that I had it, and then the fact that our company reimburses us was a driver as well, and just that it could set you up for future success outside of the company or really whatever you want to do. It's just something else you have in your holster for if you need to pull out.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know, man. I'm so busy with everything else. I don't even think about it.
I was sitting out in the middle of the desert and kind of looking for things to do to keep me busy, and this was one that came up, and I kind of made a drive to get it done. And when I got back to Ohio, it was definitely tough. I was forcing myself to sit at the bench in the kitchen and study, but got it done and passed. I don't know how close to failing it was, but I passed, and that's what matters, and I got it now.
Was that a good feeling getting it?
Yeah, I was really nervous. I felt like after the exam, I felt like I did okay. I felt like I did better than I did when I took the exam you have to take before you can take the PE, the FE. But then I started second guessing myself. I'm like, it felt way too easy. So I was really nervous. But all worked out.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So backtracking a little bit on that one, civil engineering, Valpo University. So what's the official way how to pronounce that?
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso?
Yeah.
It wasn't too terrible.
They called it Valpor, rain, snow, because it's kind of like Ohio. It's got all the weathers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why Valpo? Why civil engineering? Why'd you want to become the heartthrob of American girls around the world?
I think I was the all-American football dropout. Is what you forgot the word. Yeah. But I think for me, part of the driver was football. So I played ball in school. Part of it was realizing that I wasn't good enough to go pro. That I need to get a good education. They have a strong engineering program. And then part of it was they just came to my high school and kind of made a pitch, and I liked it. And I also wanted to get away from home. Just kind of proved to myself that I didn't necessarily have to rely on my parents.
Yeah.
And I also just wanted to branch out. It's kind of different than I feel like what your all's experience was at Toledo and stuff. I just wanted to branch out and not know anybody somewhere and just have to meet people and stuff. And I definitely had to do that. And it's kind of crazy now because a lot of those people are my best friends. And I know my brother made a comment for his wedding. He said that more of my college friends were there than his friends. And I didn't really think about it. I look around and it's yeah, that's serious. It's just good group of people, good school. For the people that were there kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Small school. I didn't think I'd be able to make it at a big state school. I'm just not. I get distracted. I like to have a good time, like to party, and I thought that I'd get distracted pretty easy.
Did you, obviously, it sounded like football was a bit of a driver. Did you have scholarship and stuff to go there? Or?
No, so they're the only Division I, I guess I'll say Division I period. They're an FCS program, which is Toledo's FBS, which is Bowl Series. And that's just a championship series. So we don't play bowl games. It's a tournament that you play in to see who's going to win. And they're the only division or only league that doesn't do scholarship. So it was purely academic.
Nice.
They have some grants and stuff that they can slip in there for you that are from donors that were football players that wanted to go to football players, but there's no athletic scholarship for football. Every other sport on campus there was.
What?
Yeah,
that's so weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe not everyone, but the majority of them. So yeah, it was different. It was don't want to talk bad about Valpo, but it was a downgrade going from the school that I played ball at in high school, and the team that I had in high school to Valpo. It was a downgrade. It was tough. Brown and gold.
And so it was academic and civil engineering.
Mm-hmm.
What drove you to do civil engineering?
kind of, I feel like, similar to almost everyone that's been on here, that at least everyone that has engineering backgrounds, I just kind of didn't really know what I was gonna do, or even if I was gonna go to college. And I was decent at math and science, and Valpo had a good engineering program, so I did it. And I like being outside, so I did civil.
Yeah.
I can kick that dog's ass. Sense, come here. Come here. Come on.
She's just having fun, man.
I know, I'm forgetting. I give it to her. I could probably pull the squeaker, actually. There we go. But now I can squeak whenever I want to. But yeah, just I didn't. It was kind of the same as everyone else. I didn't really know. My dad's a union pipe fitter. My mom's a hairdresser. College wasn't really a thing. My dad doesn't necessarily like engineers all that much, but it was something I did because I could do it, and it worked out.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, you just got your PE, so obviously you had the ability and skill set to do so.
Yeah, they have a. I mean, it really is a strong engineering program, and it really challenged me a lot. And just, I don't know, a bunch of different perspectives going. It's kind of crazy because like a lot of those people. I mean, there's kind of like the same as a lot of people around here go to Toledo. A lot of people from Chicago go to Valpo. So like, I got immersed in that kind of social environment and stuff, which was completely different than back here.
Yeah.
So a lot of unique perspectives.
Yeah, for sure. And you're from Elida, Ohio?
Yeah.
What's the size of this town and high school and everything?
So Elida, I want to say maybe like 1,200.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's kind of like a suburb of Lima, so you kind of have, or like a subdivision more, but you kind of have the more thinly sized city within like a mile or two, but then you get towards where I grew up, and it's a lot more rural. So it just was kind of all mixed up, like a lot of, I don't know, just mixed with like, especially you had like a lot of the country people going to Elida, then you also had a lot of like inner city kids coming from out of town into Elida too, because it was a pretty good school system.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how many people did you graduate with?
I want to say like 180.
Okay.
So
that's
pretty
pretty
middle
small.
of the road. Yeah, it's not big at all.
Yeah.
But not as small as you.
Not as small as you.
Yeah.
27 strong.
That's absolutely mind blowing. There's a couple schools around the area that are like that, but we were, I'd say, about middle of the pack maybe.
Yeah. I talked to like 2 people I graduated with, so.
That's crazy. I was the vice president of our class, so I have to stay in touch. We actually have our 10-year reunion coming up, I think, next year that we're planning.
That's fucking wild. How's that feel?
Yeah, it's hit me pretty hard. Actually, like 2 or 3 years ago, I reached out to the president and then like our secretary person. We're all friends, and I was like, hey, like we were start planning this reunion. It's coming up quick. And they're like, well, we got another couple of years. Don't need to worry about it. I was like, oh shit, I thought it was next year. So I think we're in the clear. But yeah, it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, I just actually thought that for the first time ever. It was like 9 years is for me is coming up next fall or next spring.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit, 9 years.
I feel like
10.
I would say I feel like college blocks out like those first 5 pretty quick. Like you don't even think about it, and then I think when 10 years come down, you're like, oh shit, man, starting to like get to the middle age kind of thing. I don't know. 25 hit me for sure. When I was 25, I was like, damn, that's a quarter of the century. Like, it's not slowing down.
Yeah.
This is an interesting theory that I heard once. So everyone says that like time just keeps going faster, and I don't know where I heard this, but they said that the reason is because when you're younger, like a minute is so much more of your life, but then as you get older, because your life has been so much longer, a minute is actually like a shorter amount of experience time. And
I would get behind that.
I was like, yeah, I think it makes sense because I really feel like time goes faster now. I don't know if it's because we're more busy. I don't think it is though, because I stayed busy when I was younger, but it just felt like there was so much more time.
Yeah, your relation of your experience time is getting longer and longer. So therefore, yeah, that's interesting. Your present seems shorter.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
I buy into that one.
It made me think for a minute, but
so it's only gonna get worse from here on out, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because that's like you listen to your grandparents.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I can't believe it's. And I mean, I agree with them too, but they're like, I can't believe it's June or July, and then it's like, in the end of the year, it's like, holy shit.
I said something to my dad the other day, or a while ago at this point, I guess, that made us both feel old. And the saying was, I figured this out, I looked at our birthdays, I was like, how does it feel that I'm closer to being 40 years old than you are? And he's like, holy fuck, dude. I remember being 40 like yesterday and me saying that I'm closer to that age now than what he is.
There was something else. Oh, there was another good one too that blew my mind. I'm not thinking about it later. It had to do with years and like I think it was that we're closer. Yeah, we're closer to 2050 than 2050. Must 2040 than we are. No, 2050 than we are to 1970.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's mind blowing. But
yeah, that doesn't seem right either.
No. And it took me a minute to think about it. I'm like, damn, that's wild.
So on that note, where's the world going to be in 2050? You an optimist? You a pessimist?
I don't know. So I think some of the. So I'll say I'm an optimist.
Okay.
And it kind of starts to get into the religion stuff, but I was kind of told. So at Valpo, it's a Lutheran school, so you're required to take one Lutheran, or not Lutheran, one like religious course, and
Okay.
typically it's Christianity is what you're taking.
Yeah.
And one of the professors teaches it to with C.S. Lewis, Chronicles of Narnia and stuff, and it's awesome, and it like changed my perspective on a lot of things. Excuse me, but he said there's two approaches to it. You can say that basically like from a religious perspective, you can say like that the world is basically full of sin and it's basically going to hell kind of thing. Like it's all downhill. Be the pessimist, or you can say that like people are going to adapt. Like there's gonna be things that evolve or change over time, and people have like the God-given ability to like adapt and overcome. And I tend to side with that part of it more. I mean, I definitely think like the world's gonna end and all that stuff, but I don't think we're really. I personally just don't think we have as much control as we say or think we do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's that's good. I think it's a good perspective to have.
I was gonna say I think we're gonna we'll have some disagreements on the show today. But what's your perspective?
As being optimistic or pessimistic?
Sure.
On the next 30 years? I don't know. I bounce back and forth all the time. Between, like, there's sometimes, I'm very susceptible to, like, new things that I find out that are going on in the world. Where I'm gonna be like, oh, we're so fucked.
Yeah.
I'll read something and be like, oh my god, we're so fucked. Everything's gonna go down this shit. We're gonna go to, like, a world war. And then next day I'd be like, I don't know, maybe everything will be fine.
That's kind of, I do the same stuff. Like, I will say I do listen to, like, a lot of, I guess I'll call them conservative radio hosts and stuff. And a lot of times I feel like they're, like, extreme, maybe both sides are, like, extremely doomsday. Like, everything's going to end the world. And I'm like, all right, like, this stuff may be a little bizarre, but, like, it's not going to end the world. Like, I think we're going to be okay. Like, we'll find ways to have to overcome, or, like, this social event is not going to, like, cause a civil war. Like, I think we're going to be okay kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I have to catch myself a lot on that kind of stuff. But I think we'll be all right in 30 years. It's just mind-blowing, too, like, the advancements. I always think about this, too. So my grandma is, like, in her late 80s, and they, a couple, maybe 10 years back, all of her siblings are still around, I think, or maybe one of the siblings just passed away, and I don't know who had them sit down and, like, write all the recollections, like, through the years of just, like, their experiences. And my grandma was talking about how she remembers going out and catching a chicken, like chopping the head off, plucking the feathers, and like that was supper that night. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's so mind blowing to think that that's what she was doing in, like, I don't know, maybe like the 30s or 40s, and now where we are. Or she's like, I remember like watching my brother go off to World War II on a train.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, holy shit. And now you're like, I can't imagine how she's not super like, I don't know, like emotional or like talkative and stuff, but you can just imagine how she feels. Like, that has to be mind blowing where she's at now. And I'm like, what happens in like 50 years or 30 years, how much different it's going to be, because I feel like we're changing and innovating so much quicker now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, especially from a technology perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking insane. I mean, the first iPhone came out in 2007, and look how far that has changed everybody's life in a matter
you can't
of...
live without it.
Yeah.
I always think about that all the time, like a map.
Yeah.
Compared to a phone, I'm like, I can use a map, but like the convenience of a phone is insane. Like, oh, I need to go to this place. Oh, I don't know where it is. I'll throw it in my phone and I'm good to go.
Yeah. In a matter of, what is that, 17 years? What is 21? Or 14 years. Yeah,
That's mind blowing.
And like, so I really thought that this last weekend, Morgan and I went out to a hibachi restaurant, and we just sat with a bunch of random people, and sitting around this hibachi grill, and every single person besides us is just sitting there scrolling on their fucking phone, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like people can't live without it. They're completely stuck on it in a matter of 14 years of growing with it, where before then nobody had it.
That stuff is scary. That stuff scares me. That kind of side of the technology stuff. There's some sort. I'm real big into documentaries too. I just love the Netflix documentaries and everything. All of them, the true crime and like the last. What you probably don't like, The Last Dance is Michael Jordan. Like a documentary on Michael Jordan.
Oh, I've heard really about it, but I never watched it.
And like all The Dirt with Motley Crue and like all the bands. I love all of those. And there's one. It's like I think it's The Social Experiment, maybe something like that. And it talks about the social media and how like bad it is. And
The Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma, yeah. And I'm like, God, it makes you think. But like, I don't know if it's even a conscious effort. Like, if I'm with people, I'm not on my phone. Like I force myself. Like, if you're like in a meeting room and it's awkward silence and people are like getting on their phones and checking shit out, I will not get on my phone. I may not talk, but I'm not gonna get on my phone. Like, unless I have a direct thing to do. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and scroll to make it less awkward.
Yeah.
So
I would say my effort to do that is a bit conscious. Like, I'm aware of I don't want to just use it as a reflex to get out of situations. So, I mean, I tell myself, like, hey, don't go on your phone here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely, like, an easy habit. Just pull it out, and then look down, and, like, not make contact with anybody.
I think part of me, too, for some reason, I'm always playing the music, like, when our friends are together and stuff, so it's, like, usually plugged in or Bluetooth or whatever, so I just, like, leave it, and then I just get to go do whatever I want. It's pretty nice.
Do you aspire to be a DJ?
I would 100% be a DJ. I think I line up
I could
bangers.
see it, totally.
I think I line up bangers. I've got some good, unique ones out there. We play... my brother made a rap in high school stuff, and he like tried to hide it because it's kind of embarrassing. And that usually shows up.
Dude, I should have. I didn't know about this, but when I was filming your brother's wedding, you guys were all toasted, having a good time, and you guys bring it up, and then like you guys are screaming at Clark and like talking about Clark Park.
Yeah, Clark Park. That's
And I tried so hard to search the internet because I wanted to put it.
I think it may be locked. They may have just given me access.
Because I was like, I gotta put this in the wedding video and like not tell anybody, and I couldn't find it anywhere online.
I lost it.
But then I didn't know if because you could tell he was kind of like somewhat embarrassed about it.
Yeah, I think he's finally starting to get over it a little bit. So so we went on a houseboat last weekend, and I played it on like a Saturday afternoon. We'll call out Mike Martin. We're getting tuned up, as he would say. It's Alyssa's dad, my brother's wife's dad, and I played it on the houseboat. And my brother, it was a karaoke boombox, and my brother sang his part. So I think he's starting to get out of his comfort zone and embrace it. But it was so funny.
Yeah, when you guys pulled out the wedding, man, like that's instantly I thought, I was like, I gotta find a copy of this and put it in the video. And I couldn't find it where I was like, damn it, because like
I think they might have it locked.
That would have been a hilarious surprise to show you, like, dude, this fucking videographer just goes out there and puts this in the video.
Oh, that would have been great. Like I said, we were all blown away. I'll also say it all night. We were completely blown away by the wedding video. Everyone thought it was great. And I'll give a shout out to the intro. It's Jonah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the intro song.
Oh,
I didn't realize he made that until you guys were talking about it. And I was like, I love that. I love the intro. It's so cool.
But, he's recording an album this weekend, actually.
Oh, yeah.
He just set up a studio in his house. And
so is it like all the songs written, he just records in the album studio and makes it sound right?
Well, that's the goal, I guess. It's going to be the first attempt. He's having some friends come down, and he's got he just bought all of the recording gear this last week.
Oh yeah, I listened. Who's the guy that you had on to? Was it Dylan?
Yeah,
I listened to Dylan's stuff. I've got some of them saved. Yep.
Nice. I'm sure he'll appreciate that one.
Oh yeah. Get all my shout-outs in while I can.
So aspirations of being a DJ. Are there other hobbies or things that you just find yourself really enjoying yourself in your free time?
Yeah, so this is where I'll call out Amy, because I have a ton of hobbies and do a ton of things, and I think even with Travis too, I can't say no. Yeah. Like, I'm always down to do anything, and it's really fun. But then again too, it's like you show up to my house is a mess. Like I can't clean my house when I'm down at Cumberland on the houseboat kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so hobbies, I would say like
typically they revolve around like outdoor things, and I'll just do anything. Like this year, I always go run at the park, and they have a frisbee golf course, and I'd always see them playing frisbee golf. I'm like, that looks pretty fun. And so this year, me and my housemate Bender, we started getting into it a little bit, and it turns out they have like a league, and it's like a $5 pay-in. You can go play. And we thought, I mean, it's just throwing a frisbee, there's nothing to it, and these fuckers are good. They can, like 300 or 400 feet and drop it right in a little basket. It's mind-blowing. But so I kind of got into that a little bit. I don't know, then like doing yard work outside. I like work on my own cars and stuff, so that takes up a bunch of time. I mean, concerts, huge fan of concerts. That's like, I feel like we bond a lot on that kind of stuff too. And like skiing's a big deal, like water and snow. So there's anything outdoors, anything water related, I'm 100% down. So
yeah. I mean, dude, you are always doing
the
something.
list would roll on the floor. I love it. I just like love. I feel like I don't know. I feel like you just got to do things while you can. Like I don't know. Like I listen, especially elderly people. When people talk, I listen. And the one thing which my grandparents didn't necessarily say this, but my grandpa, this gets back to work too. But he said his number one regret, he worked his ass off, and he ended up retiring pretty early, like 55, I think. And he said his number one regret, he was hourly employee, was working too much overtime. He's like I missed things with the family and doing stuff that I shouldn't have missed. And I'm like, damn, I'm salaried, and I put the extra time into all that stuff. I'm like, at what point is it not worth it? But like at the same time, if there's stuff to do, I want to do it, because you never know when you're not gonna be able to do it anymore. And my grandpa, like right 2 years after he retired, he started losing his vision pretty bad, and they're like really big into travel and all that stuff, and they can't do it now. Like he can't drive, and so like I see that, and I'm like, I want to do it while I can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah, fuck retirement, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, screw it. I'm just down to do stuff right now.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I've talked, and like just having these conversations with people, and like you kind of get a little bit of an insight. People talking about like those experiences and having those like click moments where it's like, and that can drastically affect like how you perceive your life going forward. And I think those conversations are so awesome to have, and it just like helps like you kind of sit back down a moment, like, yeah, why am I working 80 hours a week?
Yeah.
Like kind of like, and you have somebody who did it
that's telling you to not do it. Like, and then what are you gonna do? Sit back at 55 and be like, oh shit, Grandpa told me that 40 years ago, 20 years ago, and I didn't listen to him, and here I am saying it to my grandkids. Now it's like, I don't know, you gotta learn from the people ahead of you, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's awesome.
And I think a lot of people too think that that's a generational thing, and I don't think it is. I think it's a personal thing. I don't know.
What do you mean, generational thing? Of work? Or?
Yeah, like how, which my grandpa was dedicated to the company, but he would do like, I mean, if he had a better opportunity, he'd be gone. And I don't know, I feel like now our generation, we get the vibe of like, kind of like, I'm not committed to the company, I'm committed to like my career kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's...
No, I think that is a byproduct of our times. So we get labeled as our generation thing.
And it could be from a generation before us saying, hey, don't commit to the company.
I think it's a mix of all of that, where, you know, our parents' generation went through like a bad recession, and like, you know, they dedicated their entire lives to a company, and then like day one, they're like, fuck it, you're fired, we're out, we're out of business. Yep. And then they're like, well, why did I work all those hours? You know, and then hand with our generation, with the internet, and like it's $50 to fly to Colorado now. We live in a world where you can fucking go anywhere so cheap,
do anything,
and it's like
meet anybody.
And then like, hey, I'm not regionally locked in anywhere. Like 2 generations ago, when your grandma was fucking raising chickens, they kind of were just there in that area, and that's where they stayed.
Met someone within, so she met my grandpa. She met at her, I think, sister's wedding. And they were both the maid of honor and best man. Yeah, that's how they met. That's like, and I just remember like too, when my brother and his fiance, they weren't even, I don't even know if they were engaged at the time. They moved up to Cleveland, and like my grandma was like really bothered by it, and she always like called me because she says I'm like level headed and I can like rationalize through things. She called me worked up, and I'm like, you gotta understand, like, do you want both of them to be paying like $1,200, $1,500 a month for rent to not live together, and they're gonna get married and stuff? And she's like, oh yeah, that like makes sense. I'm like, yeah, just they're not 20 miles away anymore, like just not the way it was. And it's just kind of just crazy how much that stuff's changed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you gotta look at things logically, you know, and you just gotta adjust like your lifestyle to it.
But it's just crazy too, just how able you are to like market yourself and meet new people and stuff. So like 2 or 3 years ago, we go to Lake Cumberland a lot too. That's where the houseboats were. That's a big thing we do. And we go to Poker Run, which is just a huge party and stuff. And we camp down there where we go with our family. And the people next to us, it was this girl, and she just came over and started talking to our group, and she was like super cool, and we all kind of hit it off with her and stuff. And she's a nursing recruiter, and my fiance is a nurse, so they were kind of talking this and that, and she was throwing out these crazy numbers about how she's basically like a hospital will call her and they'll be like, hey, you know, we need a nurse for 3 months, like here's $100K, like just find us a nurse. And so she calls people up, she's like, hey, you want to make $50 an hour? They're like, hell yeah, and she pockets the rest. Well, my housemate, he's sitting over here trying to kind of figure out what he wants to do here the next couple of years. I was like, hey man, I know this recruiter, like here's her name, like add her on Facebook. They'd like talk today about his options and like future opportunities and stuff like that. She's like, yeah, come October, like we'll be looking into stuff for you. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like the one random connection and it just works out.
Yeah.
It is nuts to think about shit like that.
Yeah, and that would never happen 20 years ago. I don't even know if it would happen 20 years ago.
You would have never had that ability, like, well, I don't know this person's number, I don't know where they live, I don't know their friend. It's like, well, here's the name, and they can find them and just shoot them a message.
It's crazy. It's so cool.
Have you ever had any like moments that you think about that kind of like weaved your life in like different directions, and think how crazy that's worked and like why you're here today?
Yeah, I think the number one situation for me was I was playing ball still at Valpo, and we had spring ball, and I felt like I was in the best shape of my life. I'd really like figured stuff out. I was my biggest struggle in college was learning the playbook. I just couldn't really figure it out, and it's a really big deal. It's a whole nother level from high school. Like there's a lot more complexity that goes into it, and everyone's right there with you. So like you have any little edge you get, you have to take it. And but I was finally starting to get all that stuff figured out, and we had a new coaching staff come in the season before. They brought in their guys that they wanted to play, which whatever, fine. But I just was determined, like I'm just gonna beat this kid out. Like I'm gonna make the coaches look stupid for playing this kid. That was like all I wanted to do. And in spring ball, I started to realize that like if there was contact stuff, they wouldn't put this kid in. They would just put me in, and I'd get my ass beat basically. Which whatever, I like that. And the one play I was coming across the middle was full go, and I come across the middle right in front of the quarterback. I catch the ball, and I plant my left foot to go upfield, and a linebacker like hit me on my hip behind me, and I didn't like go down. His kind of momentum swung around my body, and he fell on my heel. And then the safety was coming down to pursue or whatever, and he kind of like stood me up at my chest, and my foot ended up like twisting and collapsing. And supposedly, I think I dislocated 15 bones and broke 20 in my foot, like busted my cleat open. Bunch of shit, and I'd like never gotten injured before. Like I had a broken pinky in high school. That was like literally it, and it wasn't great. And it's just, man, like high school's kind of cutthroat, but college is like, all right, like that was on this half of the field. Let's move practice down to this half of the field. Trainer, come cart this kid off. And so the trainer gets me, and he's like, oh yeah, I think it's just a couple dislocations. Like we'll reset your feet and reset your toes. You'll be out a couple weeks, but you'll be fine. And at this time, I had gotten an offer to go up with marathon for the first time, like that the fall before, and I was kind of battling with it because I knew if I came back for camp for football, I wouldn't get a full first term in, and I was like, man, it's gonna be tough to get like a return offer, and then also that was gonna be my senior year, so I would have been like ready for full-time employment. It's kind of tough for that to happen. Shout out to Travis though, because he did it, so I remember hearing that. That was impressive. But I had that in the back of my mind, and I'm like, how am I going to make this decision? Because I feel like this is the year that I'm going to play. Like I'm going to make moves. Like I was feeling good and all that stuff, and I was like, I can't give it up. And then we go into the hospital, and again, I'm thinking just like dislocations. They take me to X-ray to make sure everything's okay. My trainer comes in. He's like, hey, you need to call your parents right now. We're calling a surgeon in. Like, you're going in emergency surgery. Like, we don't know if you're going to walk again. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, so I kind of freaked out a little bit, and I don't know. Like, I tried calling my parents like 10 times. I didn't know what they were doing. I mean, I'm at college and whatever. Like, you don't know what's going on day to day. And they're at my brother's basketball banquet, and I couldn't get a hold of them. So I called my little sister, and she answers, and I just like started crying. Like, I busted out crying because I was like, I don't know what to do. And she ended up telling my fiance, and my parents drove up like right away. But as I was going into surgery, the doctor's like, yeah, like, he's like, I just want to be straight up with you. Like, I've never done like a surgery this intense, and like, you may end up in Chicago if we can't get shit figured out. And I'm just like, I'm shaking. They give me all the medication to like calm me down. I'm all fucked up. And I don't know, I end up waking up after surgery, and the surgeon's like, hey, like, I just had your foot on the table, and I went and I just like twisted it and everything reset. He's like, so I put 3 pins in, and we're gonna see what it looks like here in like a couple weeks. And I mean, it's kind of fucked up. You can see like the scars and stuff from it. It's like a little awkward shaped and stuff, but like, it's been pretty fine. I've been pretty much able to do whatever I want, like run, ski. Skiing was a big thing. I was like, I had to be able to, at that time I didn't snow ski, so it was water skiing. I was like, I have to be able to water ski. And like, it's still a goal of mine, but I'm kind of slipping in terms of the physical fitness, but I really want to run a marathon. I was like, I want to be able to do those things. Other than that, I don't really care. And I can do whatever I want now. So it's, that was a turning point, because that pretty much solidified my decision. I was done with football.
Kind of made it for you, huh?
Yeah, and that's what, and I know it's only a question that'll come up. Like, I truly believe in like a higher power. Like, I 100% believe in God and like Jesus Christ and all that stuff. And I 100% know that because I couldn't make the decision, it was made for me. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, because I was thinking about that shit for like 6 months, and it just, boom, there you go, there's your decision. I just remember walking into because I just felt like it kind. The one thing that football gave me an experience of was the whole you're just a number thing, which I think a lot of people coming into corporate settings, that hits them hard. And I think a lot of people that have even been in corporate settings for a while feel like if they leave, then the company's going to go down. I'm like, no, like, there's 20,000 people in this company. Like, they're going to find a replacement, and the company will move on just fine. And football gave me a huge eye opener to that perspective before I got to like marathon and stuff. So it was a lot easier for me to like understand that. And it's not like necessarily like a wrong thing. It's just like it's the way businesses run, and you kind of really can't fault them. But
the machine keeps moving, man.
Yeah, dude,
whether it's a football team or a company, it's like they kind of have their downtime for a second. Like, all right, well, we're gonna keep moving.
Dude, I just remember walking into my coach's office, and because that was when I was gonna tell him I'm not coming back, and he was like, "Hey, we don't think you're gonna be physically fit enough to come back next season." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming back anyways." Left, and I never talked to him after that. And we go back, like all our friends and stuff from college, like we try to get back to homecoming every year and stuff. And those coaches have since moved on, but like, I don't know, this gave me it was a huge eye opener. Like, hey man, and it's not, like I said, it's not wrong, but that's just how the business works, and life goes on.
Yeah. That's such a positive way of taking that situation, and like so many people can like still beat themselves over it. I think your way is like a really optimistic way of looking at the situation, where you go, hey, it's made up for me, and this is the path I'm going down now. Where some people get like, will always potentially say like, what if?
Yeah.
You know, and like beat themselves up. Be like, damn, what if this happened? What if that happened?
Yeah.
But you can say what if for fucking anything.
I was gonna say, I still think you always do that, because you always just kind of wonder. But I think it was even because you co-opted to Martin and Patoka, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I remember going like I did Martinsville first, and basically it's out in the middle of nowhere. And I just remember 2 weeks before I was supposed to start in a different group, I got asked to go out to Martinsville, and I was like, damn, I don't know. And I just did it. I just swung it, and like, I don't know. I think anywhere I go, any decision I make, like, I'm gonna make the best out of it. Like, going out there was like the greatest thing ever. Like, I didn't want to come back to Finley. I'm like, I'll stay out in Patoka for the rest of my life. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I think that is truly how I approach like every situation. I'm like I'm gonna make the best out of it. I'm gonna have a good time. Like, even going to New Mexico, like, yeah, I was out in the middle of nowhere. I'm engaged. Like, I've got a house. I've got a dog. Like, all that shit I left back home. But I got to see so many unique experiences down there. Like, I'll never regret that. And I would have never seen it without going. And like, my fiance wouldn't have seen it. Like Big Ben, like I would have never went. I guess you guys would because you're crazy and fun random shit to do. But we would have never went and done that stuff, and I got to bring him along. It was like the coolest thing. So
Yeah.
you can look at it and be like, oh, this is. And I still do sometimes. I have to catch myself. You can look at things and say, this is bullshit. Like this is ridiculous. Or you can be like, hey, yeah, there's some things that suck about it. But there's some stuff that's pretty cool too, and try to focus on the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, what do you think it is, man? I mean, I 100%, like, my perspective and perception of you is that you are always having a good time. You're making the most of things. Do you think that's, like, is there something inside of you that keeps that mindset going strong for you? Or does it come pretty naturally and you kind of don't have to think about it too much and you're like, hey, yeah, I'm going to have a good time?
I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's just like a natural thing. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, because, like, I don't know. I feel like if I want to do something, I know it's going to be a good time, and I would definitely want to go do it, and I would do it alone, but, like, I want to bring everyone with me if they want to come, and I'm, like, always inviting people or, like, planning trips, and it, like, kicks my ass a lot of times, but, like, I can't stop doing it. Like, me and my fiance, like, even with this house, we're like, this is the last year we're doing this shit, like, planning a trip for 25 people is insane. But then it's like, I was like, all right, so like here in a couple months we got to figure out what date we're going next year, and like it's just I can't help myself. So
last time we talked, you were literally talking about how this is the last year you're gonna be planning it.
Yeah,
and now you're back into it.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just do one houseboat instead of doing like both of them kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do think, like, again, I think another turning point for me was that taking that theology class in college. I did not expect that, but it changed my perspective on so many things. And I just really believe, like, another thing that I've, like, seen that I take into account is, I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but it's basically like, I don't know if it's an adage or what, but it's basically like when you're young, you have all the time and no money, and when you're old, you have all the money and no time. And I'm like, there's got to be a way to, like, get to a happy medium there. And so I'm always focusing on that, like, trying to make the most of it while I can.
Yeah, I think I've changed my perspective. I mean, I'm always, like I said earlier, I'm like being an optimist or pessimist. I'm always changing my current perspective of like what I should be doing and like what I shouldn't be doing, and like trying to balance that in my head. And hopefully just trying to run with the decision after it's made.
Yeah, I mean, you do some ballsy shit, and I look back, I'm like, damn, that's impressive. And I don't know, but I respect the hell of it. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you referencing anything in particular?
Just, I don't know, if like just some like your trips are like, so this is the other thing too. I'm not spontaneous. Like, I'm very planned out. Like I can tell you what I'm doing every weekend. People, like, I know, like, I've heard Doobie talking crap about people at work who are planning out their vacations. If I do the same thing, and so like I can tell you everything I'm doing from like now to basically middle of March of next year, because I have that shit planned out. Like, I know what I'm doing, because I'm like, you only get, I get 3 weeks of vacation now, but you only get 3 weeks. That's not really that much time when you start going on trips and doing stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna figure this stuff out, and then you get better deals on like Airbnb and all that stuff. But you guys are like super spontaneous. I feel like you could be out west somewhere next week and you'd be like, yeah, we're going. It's like, what? That's crazy. But
yeah, I like having, and I don't know if there's like a reason of like me not having shit planned out, but I have nothing planned for this next coming weekend, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it because I want to keep my weekend free. It's like, oh, it's kind of nice. I don't have anything planned. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it could be a crazy weekend, or like even I feel like I don't know if it was spontaneous to your house, but like I respect the hell out of that too. Like, I just remember going in that place and helping you out a couple times. I'm like, there's no way in hell this kid's finishing this, and then you like put it together. I was like, damn, that was impressive. So just that kind of stuff. But I think for you it's, which I'm kind of like this way, but like for you it's like if you want to do something, you're like, it's gonna get done. Like, you're fully committed to it. Like, you're gonna kill yourself trying. My brother's the same way too, and I think I respect that for sure.
Yeah, it's another one of those things that I gotta keep telling myself I'm gonna do it, so that way I can't be a liar. So
House is crazy.
That's what I try to do to help hold myself accountable on shit. It's like, all right, well, once I tell people I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna make sure I do it, or else like I'll be a liar. So.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I just kind of met you through work, so I haven't known you all that long. But I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm kind of like picking up on some things that you do, and like that running thing that you did, just to kick all their asses. Like that I was like, that's priceless. That's 100% Welly.
Yeah, when we you said you want to run a marathon. When we running it? August?
Yeah, right, dude. I gotta drop some weight. Let me get to this wedding. Actually, maybe next August. Put it on the book for August 2022.
We'll do training this month. We'll run a trainer marathon this month. So just sign up for one. I see.
Maybe my brother and his two buddies did one. We've got my grandpa built a lake house up in Michigan in like the 60s, and it just so happens that like 26.2 miles away, our friends have a lake house. So my brother and his two buddies, they did just a bullshit marathon on like Memorial Day, not this one but last one, and that looked rough. They were hurting.
Yeah, I believe.
Have you done a marathon?
No, that's why I kind of was getting into this, and then like that put me in the mindset of me wanting to sign up for one. But I finished June with 160 miles, and I was like, yeah, all right, well.
Did you end up winning the month?
Of course. Talk to those people, dude.
That's all that matters.
I don't want to talk about it, but like they self-proclaimed their own victory somehow because this fucking guy took off Friday one day, and he ran like 30 miles. He was like, I was to 100 miles.
He was probably
first.
walking half of them.
And so I just made sure I destroyed the total mileage. So I got to 160.
That's all that matters in my mind.
Yeah.
You're the winner.
I don't know. So maybe sometimes the ego takes over and gets the best of you.
Hey, it's not all bad, man. I wish I could do that.
But yeah, and then like it just puts you into your place a little bit too. So my mom's friends were over at my parents' house this last weekend, and we're just chilling out outside drinking some beers. And he's like an ultra runner, 50 years old, coming up on 50. And I was talking about my run-in, and I was like, yeah, but I mean, I don't even run in comparison to you. And I was like, would you run yesterday? Like 25, 30 miles? And he's like, yeah. And he's training because this weekend, he's running a 135-mile race down in Akron, or over in Akron, I think.
So, like, does he do that all at one time?
Yeah.
Like, in the day? How does he do? Is he retired? Does he work?
It's this weekend. It's Saturday.
Well, I'm saying that 25 miles even.
Gets up before work and runs after work and shit like that.
So it's kind of like bits and pieces throughout the day.
I think he'll run it at once. I mean, he's training for a 135-mile race.
I don't know how you do that. Like that, I guess he's probably pretty quick or something.
I don't know. That's what I told Morgan too. It's like it's just a time dedication
time,
at that point because, like, that was a hump for me when I was running before work in June a shit ton. It was like I was getting up at 4 a.m. and running, and like I would get to my hump, which was like mile 13. And it was like, I could keep going, but like, I'm just kind of like tired of running at this point.
Yeah,
like,
so I go to the office at some point.
Yeah, it's already been 2.5 hours, and it's like, I mean, I could keep going for another 8, but like, why? It's gonna take another hour and a half.
That's crazy.
So, like, shit like that, yeah. Like, on 135 miles, I think it's over like 24 hours is what it's gonna take.
My brother, because Jason Kuhlman that used to work at Marathon, he did that stuff, I think.
Oh, he doesn't work Marathon anymore?
Mm-mm. I think they own this ice cream place just down the road, though. I go there a lot, but I haven't seen him there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he got let go. And then, like John Kramer ran the Boston Marathon and placed like, I don't know, top 30 or something in his age group, which is insane. Like average like a 6:20 mile or something for the marathon.
That's fucking hardcore.
That's it. Yeah,
fast,
I was like, holy shit. Yeah, it was mind blowing to me. But I don't know. That shit's crazy. My brother saw them. When they were camping at a campground once. They ran all through the night, like all over the place, nonstop.
Yeah, like you said, it's just time.
It's mind blowing to me.
And I don't know. I would like to run a 100-mile race at some point, but like, I don't know. Maybe you did get something in your head and you just don't stop anymore. You know. And
Forrest Gump it.
Yeah. So we'll see.
That's wild.
We'll see. I can't commit to it and lock myself to it, so I'm not saying it publicly.
August 2022.
I'll commit to a marathon, man.
I know, but you're not. Well, why don't you do 100 miles and I'll do marathon.
No, we'll see. No official commitment on that one.
I'll commit to the marathon next year.
All right. Well, I'll lock us in for it. That's fine.
All right,
we'll figure it out.
I'm down.
Yeah. I mean, hobbies. You're having fun, man. I am curious on our one mutual hobby is snow skiing.
Hell yeah.
you love it, dude. If it's the winter, if it's snow season, every time I see you on Snapchat or Instagram or something, you're out west.
Yeah, that's my addiction big time.
You mentioned you didn't do it until like your senior year of college.
I don't even know if it was senior year of college. It's only been like, we've only done it like 3 seasons.
And you got into it that big from your first
Yeah, man. My buddies, well, because like, again, we were like big water people, but like a lot of my friends were big into the snow and stuff. And they kept hinting at it, like, if you get into the snow, you're never gonna, like, you'll never turn back. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so full of shit. Like, whatever. I've been snow sledding, like, it's nothing crazy. And we went to Mad River. I actually went with my brother and all of his buddies. They went to Mad River. I went myself. I remember I couldn't even figure out how to get the stupid boots into the skis. I couldn't, like, my brother's buddies are all over there wearing jeans and, like, long sleeve shirts and all this shit. And, we had an absolute blast. And so I was, like, hooked. And I was, like, going every single Friday, going down there, Mad River, grabbing backpack full of beer, riding down the mountain, just having a ride. I was like, it can't get better than this. There's no way it gets better than this. And then my one buddy's he's pretty big into it. He's actually dating a girl from Colorado now, and he's like let's go out west this year. As soon as you go out west, you won't even want to ski at Mad River. I'm like, oh, screw you, like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. I was like, I love Mad River. And then we went out to Winter Park. That was the first time I went out west, and I was like, holy shit. And
It's a game changer.
ever since then, I'm like, screw it. I don't even want to go to Mad River. I'll just sit here and wait and do like once a month a big ski trip kind of thing and just hit it hard out there. The first time, because wasn't Winter Park your first time out there too?
Yep.
Yeah. And the spring skiing's awesome too.
Yeah, I was spring first time out there in like April, so no one was there.
Yeah. Well, it was a still party though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But like there was no lines and like the mountains were open.
Yeah.
And then like just. But when you go down to the bottom, there's like all the locals are having parties.
Having a party.
And it's like, this is awesome.
The first time I went, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just with a group that had been out there before and knew what they were good and knew what they were doing, a bunch of snowboarders and shit. And I don't remember the name of it. It's like the main blue that goes like all the way down from the peak. And we're just running down and there's like moguls that they're running through and I'm like, oh, moguls. And I'm like just getting tore up in them. I think I remember, it was probably halfway down. It was the first run, I'm pretty sure. And there was moguls, and I was trying to go through them. And I have this American flag jumpsuit that's like my suit that I wear. I love it. And that was the first time I wore it, and I ripped the crotch out, and I just was laughing. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And all these people are riding up the lift, and they're like, "Oh, America, America!" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm too big for my suit." And they're all like, "Oh." But yeah, we've had some good times out there. We went to a ton of places.
What's the best?
I was gonna say, we always say Winter Park. So I guess I better put a little pitch in for Anna too. My buddy that's a big skier, him and his like mom and stuff kept telling Anna, they're like, you need to get lessons when you go out there, like it's serious, it's not like wear helmets and all that stuff. And I was listening to him and I kind of told Anna, I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna stay with these guys, like I want to get after it. And I'm like, she doesn't really do that, she kind of has to ease into things. And I was like, you need to get lessons. And she was like, no. And then finally I'm like, seriously, I'm not staying with you. So she got lessons and the first day we like dropped her off, like have a good day at school, like just messing with her. And that they failed her that first day. They're like, you cannot go to the next level of class, you have to do this one again. Yeah, so it's probably a good thing, but she like learned so much in the class and she started to get better. Now she's doing like the black diamonds and stuff too, so
that's cool.
Yeah, it's been good, but I don't know, like I always say Winter Park and I always want to get back, but we always get the Epic Pass, which doesn't have Winter Park in it. But I still think Winter Park is our favorite. And then we did the spring skiing, I think the same year that y'all went out, just not the same weekend. And
19? Was it 2 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah.
We went out like the weekend before Easter, and it was like 60 degrees. We had like t-shirts on skiing. It was just absolutely, and just phenomenal conditions.
Yeah.
So I think I would probably say that's where our heart is, but I mean, you can't beat really any of them. Like Park City's great, and we got connections there for like people to hang out with, marathon people. And we did Heavenly this year, and the skiing's like tougher.
Where's Heavenly at?
California, Lake Tahoe.
Oh, okay.
But it's like the best views. Like your view is the lake when you're going down, and it's just phenomenal. Then there's a place on the north end of the lake called North Star. That was really good skiing. Yeah, we go everywhere. Like the Colorado ones are all fine.
Have you been to Telluride?
I don't think so. No.
I think is that Colorado too?
Yeah. Well, California?
I don't know where Telluride is. I'll have to look it up.
I don't know, but I don't think we haven't been there.
That's a big one where I see some of my friends from college. They hit up that one, Lake Tahoe, and then what's the one in Wyoming? That's another like huge one.
This guy's Montana.
I can't think of it. It's Wyoming. I'll have to look up afterwards.
Yeah.
But like that one's like I think the Wyoming one might be like one of the best rated in the United States.
I was gonna say it's embarrassing because they're like big time and we don't even know some skiers we are.
Hey, you said we did it for 3 years, man. You hit pretty hard in 3 years.
Yeah, we tried it.
Times of time frame.
The first year I got an Epic Pass, I went out November, December, January twice, February, and March. Like out west.
That's awesome.
The one was Vermont, but
that's awesome, man.
yeah, it was crazy. I was like, I cannot do that again. And then last year we did three trips, and then this year we'll probably do 3 again.
I'm turning to the dark side. Are you okay with this?
I don't
Started snowboarding.
What?
Yeah, the last 3 times I went out this last season was been snowboard.
Do you like it better?
I don't know. It was just fun.
I hate sitting sideways.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Like,
You just getting bored with the skis? I think you may have said this.
I don't know if I was getting bored. It was to the point where like I felt comfortable going down everything, but like I'm not like an expert by any stretch of the means, but like I felt comfortable going down any hill on skis.
Yeah.
And like everybody's like, dude, you gotta try snowboarding. You gotta try boarding. It's fun. And like I don't know, I like the thrill of it, and I want to learn how to surf better. And I got into skateboarding. And
who's got the long hobby list?
those are all aligned in the same thing. So I want to try snowboarding. So, do you respect snowboarders?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
No, I don't give a shit. My cousin's a snowboarder, so my cousin would always give a shit for skiing, saying how it's super easy and this and that, and snowboarding's real hard. Well, at Heavenly, him and one of our buddies switched, and they looked out of place. I was like, please put your board back on. Like, I don't care. You're great. You're a pro at skiing, but just put your board back on. Like, I'm trying to have a good time, and like you're making me nervous, and you suck really bad. Like, he was flipping around backwards. Yeah, and he grew up. He skied first, but he's a phenomenal boarder, and we'll get after it and stuff, but just isn't. He's just a boarder. It's not, and that's the thing too. Like, I don't. It's the same with It's the same with water. I don't really like wakeboarding that much. And I think it's sitting sideways, and I've just had some bad experiences on the water. Yeah. So I just don't like it as much, but he's great at it, so I don't know. But I was gonna say, do I need to tell my story about you and your longboard? Because I heard you last week talking about how you longboard with Billy, and I was like, oh yeah, longboards.
What's the story about me?
When we were at Allie's that one night, maybe had a few too many, and you're gonna take off on your longboard, acting all cool, and just like face plant.
I did. I remember having like a few beers, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be cool and do some like sharp turns on my board, and I fucking try to whip it really fast and like do a nice carve. And I just fucking, my feet come out and just land on the pavement, face first.
That's what you guys last week, or I guess last week, because I watched the video last week, you were like talking about longboard. I'm like, yeah, he longboards alright.
Well, I have like.
Probably way better now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. That was
when I started learning it, yeah, because it was a COVID thing.
Yeah.
I was just like finishing my apartment, and I bought one of those just to learn how to do it.
Hell yeah.
So, you briefly got into it a little earlier on your beliefs, religious beliefs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you always grow up a religious person, household? You mentioned the class in college kind of like giving you some open mindset on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think, again, like what a lot of people have said on this is, or from what I've heard, is that they like kind of grew up going and kind of like had to go and didn't really think that much about it, and that's what I was for sure. I had like a lot of questions, like I think it gets brought up in the podcast all the time, like like, do you make your own decisions or fate, that kind of stuff? Like, those are the same questions I had. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense how they can both be true. But C.S. Lewis, I think it's in Mere Christianity, he has a ton of theories that he works through, like a ton of those questions, because he was his I think wife died prematurely of cancer, so he I think was atheist, and then he was trying to prove God wrong, and he kept like proving himself wrong, and so then he like wrote a book about like how he was justifying those things. And like I know the big one about how you can for me, one of the ones that like really hit, that made the most sense, was how you can choose your own fate and God also like be in control, is because his theory was that we don't understand time the same way that God does. Like for God, basically past, present, and future are all the same. It just isn't like it's not a thing like how we see, like we know the past, like we're in the present, and then we're going to be in the future. Like all that stuff is just the same plane for God. So that's how he knows what you're going to do, because he sees it all in the same light, whereas like a human can't predict what's going to happen. So you feel like you are making your own decisions, but God just sees it from like, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, C.S. Lewis does it way better, but it like made sense to me. And some of that stuff going through that class, because the professor was like a badass, and a little short guy that would wear a suit and then sweatpants, and he would come in and he's like, yeah, I was up in Chicago kayaking this weekend, and there was a shooting right next to us, and the guy that shot threw the guns in the water and swam past us, and I'd be a witness. Like that's what he started our class like, and he'd be like cussing, like super chill guy, and be like, all right, like let's get into what we had to read or something like that. And it was just a huge eye opener for me, and just the whole two things, like if humanity's gonna fix itself, or if it's gonna like go to the shitter, like all that stuff that we kind of talked about, it was really interesting for me. Mm-hmm. So that like I think at that point, that was where I was like, okay, like up until then I was kind of like going to church because it was like what we were supposed to do kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then going through that class, it like actually made me think intellectually about it, and like answered some of the questions, like why do bad things happen? Like if God is real, bad things wouldn't happen. And it's like, well, like again, we're so short-sighted in those viewpoints, like death, like in the perspective of God is like not even really a thing. So hearing those perspectives and trying to gain those understandings just kind of gave me a different perspective. And then like the other thing too, I feel like people are like, I think it's a natural human thing, and I don't think it's wrong, but people are always so like so driven to like figure out the why for everything, mm-hmm. and like how things work and like what's the reasoning. And I think I'm like super content with just like knowing that there's some things that I just will never understand, and I'm not going to, and I have to be okay with that. And I think part of like getting to heaven is gaining that understanding. Like I think when you get there, that you'll have the understanding. So that's kind of a little settling for me too. But like a lot of that stuff I had to like, or a lot of that stuff that like I felt like made me question the religion, I gained a better understanding for. I also feel like too, a lot of people associate like Christianity with humanity, and like the church, even though it was kind of like, I'd say created by like Jesus, it's been polluted by humanity. Like it's not Christianity in my mind. So
yeah, like the church and religion are two separate things. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have people running it and have been running it for thousands of years, so
they're gonna corrupt it.
You're gonna get that influence of I don't know. I'm just like a walking contradiction on anything I fucking think.
I think everyone is.
Yeah, because I go back and forth and think about, and sometimes you think like just religion at its core, like why are people driven for the why? And like in every culture before there was the connections, why did every culture and society build their own religion basis?
Say it rains because there's a rain god. Oh, yeah. We explained it, now we understand.
Yeah, and it's like, but like there's a reason, there probably is a reason why every culture developed a god.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing inherently for a species to do, right? Like, it's like crazy.
Yeah. I think the other thing for me too is like a lot of like science. Like, I mean, I'm good. I believe in science. I like science. All this shit that's going on right now. Like, I 100% buy into everything.
Yeah.
But for me, science like breaks it down and tells you like how things are happening or like what something is, but it doesn't tell you why. Like why are there atoms? Like I don't know, because they build a molecule. Like
Yeah, well, I mean,
but why are you here? You can spend your whole life trying to figure it out.
That's the kid game of always, you get an answer until you
Why?
can't say why.
Yeah.
I mean, you could keep pulling that back further and further, and then eventually, as an adult, you're gonna be like, I don't fucking know why.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, just shut up, kid. Like, I don't know. So that's been something for me too that like I've really embraced, because I feel like people are like, oh, like this scientific discovery. Okay, because again, going back to Valpo, it's a Lutheran school, and one of the professors that taught our physics class was pretty involved in the particle collider that found the God particle. And so he was there. It's not, I don't know if he was there when they discovered it, but he was at that place like studying and everything. And like he presented on it, and he's like, all right, I'm sure like the elephant in the room is like, how can you teach at like a Christian university about like things that disprove God? And he's like, it doesn't disprove God. It just shows how things break down. Like, it doesn't, like something had to, at the end of the day, something had to create something. He's like, I'm not disproving God at all. Just like hearing those different perspectives and stuff was really interesting.
Yeah. There's so many different like nuances to people's beliefs, because I think a lot of it is like egocentric on the world being created, and I don't know, fuck it, dude. I'm gonna have to cut some of this out as I pull it up, because I want to show you it.
I don't care. I'm open for anything.
Okay, so you mentioned documentaries, and it made me think of it, and then we're having this discussion, and like this documentary on Netflix is about black holes. Have you watched it?
No, but now I'm gonna have to check it out.
Okay, I'll show you. I gotta find this one scene in it, dude. And when I watched it,
Didn't they just get a black hole eating another black hole on like documented for the first time ever?
So this documentary is about their first actual ever like real photographic proof that black holes exist. And so like this whole documentary is going through that process of like them taking that imagery and them doing the mathematics behind it and like the algorithm and proofs of like the size of it, and basically to stitch everything together to say like, oh, this is 100% a black hole. Black holes do exist. Here we have photos of it. Here's the distance of it from Earth, and their process of like taking the image was insane. So this documentary is called Blackholes: The Edge of All We Know. And I'm going to pull up this one scene, and it just made me think about everything and like how small the world is and like just the scale of the galaxy and the universe was mind-boggling to me, dude. It fucked with me, and I've watched this like clip fucking 10 times now
before we go to bed.
And it's just like how small we are. So this clip is putting in this perspective of like how far away the black hole is to the Earth, and then like it does an actual scale model of how big and how far away the black hole is from us, okay? So
I think I've seen this.
This starts out as like the diameter of the Earth, and it's just going to keep scaling out until it gets to how big and how far away the black hole is from us. It's just fucking hard to believe. It doesn't.
What's the stuff that's coming up on this? Was those? Is that the black hole?
No, so that's the sun, and that's the Earth.
Okay. So those were planets that it was when it was coming out.
Yeah.
Planets.
Yeah. So I can't read it from here. So yeah, there's like Venus, Mercury, the sun, and there's Jupiter. So this is all just within our solar system still, and like you can't even see the Earth anymore. And you just see the scales getting bigger and bigger. You know, there's our solar system, and they're gonna keep going out till they get to this black hole.
Are these other galaxies then?
No, not yet.
What were all those?
This is just like the other solar systems within our galaxy.
Oh shit.
So then, this is gonna show us how big the Milky Way is. Just the one galaxy. So we're just that one speck of the Milky Way galaxy. And then like, that's the distance. Is that the distance? Yeah, so that's the distance to the black hole. Oh, no.
Of the Milky Way?
That's just the center of our galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah, and then they're going to go to the center of the galaxy to this black hole they took an image of.
So is a black hole form in the center of a galaxy?
No, so that's just our galaxy. And then here's the black hole.
That's the closest one to us?
Yeah, of like ever getting a true image of it. And that's how far away
What
it
does
is.
it say?
So what does that say there?
54 million light years.
54 million light years.
55 basically.
Isn't that crazy? Like you can't
Well, like, what does that make you question?
just like, I mean, you hear of like religious basis of like God created the world, and like that's like our only basis of knowledge of like the world being created, and you always hear that discussion. And then like sure you can apply it to the universe, but like that's how big the universe is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
I mean, doesn't it say he created the universe too? And that I think it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
I think like a lot of this stuff. Another complaint people have with like Christianity is what the Bible says, and I think a lot of this stuff in there you have to take it into the context of the time that it was written, which is really hard for your average person to do. But for a while, I was doing a Bible study with someone that like knew Hebrew and knew like the history of that time, and it helps. It helps explain because they're trying to describe stuff.
Yeah, and you gotta translate it.
Yeah, and you have to understand what they're trying to describe. Same with like the creation of the creation. Like I think they theorized that Moses wrote that. I can't remember the Old Testament. I can't remember the details, but like to understand that like some guy like with the help of God is trying to explain to you how the universe is created. Like we don't even know how for sure it was. So how the hell would he be able to write? Like he's just talking about cows and pigs and fish. Like that. Like what else is he gonna know? You know?
Yeah.
So that helps, but I mean, it is mind blowing. Because I'm sure I would assume that you'd bring up the topic of like extraterrestrial life and all that. And for me, it's like I don't really know, but a lot of people get like really worked up about it, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I don't think in my mind, it doesn't really change anything.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, it would change something if they were here.
Why?
That's fucking nuts, dude.
You're gonna die. The
Maybe.
world's gonna end.
Maybe not. Maybe I will put my brain to the computer.
That's the stuff where I'm like, yeah, I'm completely content. Like, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm fine. Like that. That's a guarantee. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I get like why. I don't know. That's a whole other topic. But
I see clips like that, and like
it's trippy,
and
I
I
believe
think
them.
like, dude, there has to be other life. It's impossible.
I don't think I disagree with that.
But like, yeah, even if it's 10 million light years away, like it doesn't fucking like you said, it doesn't fucking matter.
But what's more?
because-
I think you've gotten this. I think this question's gotten asked too. But like, what's more scary? There being other life, or finding out sometime eventually that there is no other life?
I think it'd be more scary that there is no other life.
That's kind of what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that would be very intimidating to know that we're alone in that vastness.
That's
right?
crazy.
It doesn't make any sense why you would be though.
I agree.
I
think it's something
it's
that
it's the human nature of us.
I mean,
trying to ask why for no
I can
reason.
tell you 100% that we're gonna find out if we're not alone before we find out that we are all alone. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever know if we're truly all alone. No.
Do you believe the CIA releasing documents on alien life? You think that's legit?
I mean, yeah. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
really like.
You just don't even give your.
Yeah, like people freaking out about it. I'm like, what the? Like, what is it? I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just a different way of looking at it. Like, hey, I'm here to live my life.
I guess
that like is not a factor in my life right now.
Yeah, I guess for me, a lot of times, like when there's a scenario, I'm usually like, okay, like what's gonna happen, like good or bad, and then like what are you gonna do about it? And like if you can't do anything about it, and the outcome is just the same as if you did nothing, or knew, like if you knew about it or didn't know about it, then in my mind, what the fuck does it matter? I mean, cool. It'd be cool. I think it'd be fine. Like it'd be interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing human extraterrestrial interaction. I think that'd be crazy to witness.
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably could end bad, but like humans have world wars. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's fun to think about for me.
I like thinking about it.
And I'm entertained very easily. So me and Morgan were in Alaska. We haven't even talked about like me going to Alaska.
I know. I've been bailing on lunch.
But we saw a beach of 50 to 100 sea lions, and like they were
huge.
Yeah, huge, massive, and they were just barking and like flopping around and laying on their bellies, and it's like we're just laughing, and I was like, dude, I could sit here for 6 hours. Just watching these things plop around and go,
what do you think? That's what aliens are doing to us right now?
Probably. Yeah, look
Look at these people flopping around their cars.
Yeah, just fucking look at these goofy fucks, dude. And like that's
awesome.
the same thing. I was like, well, I could sit there on a boat, put down my anchor, sit in a lawn chair, drink a beer, and just listen and watch these things for hours.
I would be see. Was that when you were on that canoe thing?
No, we did a small like half-day cruise on a glacier cruise. So we took a big boat out to a glacier, and that was on the way. So I'm out there. And
hold the boat. I gotta watch this guy.
they stopped and were like, let everybody look at them. And then I had my big zoom lens, so it made it even better. So like I could like zoom in like super close to these things and just like watch them through it. It was like having binoculars essentially.
That's so cool. So what was your favorite part of the trip outside of obviously the engagement?
Man, it's me and Morgan talked about it. It's hard to say.
You can't pinpoint it.
But we
like did Doobie's expertise, was it spot on, or did you?
It was good, man.
Or?
She had good. I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but maybe I think we outdid her. I think we had a better. I'm more of a native Alaskan.
You have to bring her back on for rebuttal.
Yeah, have a debate on Alaska. No, she had awesome tips, and it made the trip fucking sweet because like there's things that we wouldn't have done or even thought of doing that were sick as fuck, and I would recommend it to anybody. Like the way we did the RV thing for just under 2 weeks. I don't know if there's a better way to do Alaska than an RV.
I'm curious. I think she had mentioned cruises and stuff, but wasn't like huge into it.
Like I mean, I think what we did was awesome. Like what Caitlin was saying about like it's not as cool is taking like the 2 week cruises where it's like you take a cruise, then you go like land in the town, and then you're back out on the like the yacht for like a day. You know, that's fine, but like if you're young, like
you don't get to see the country.
Yeah, you can't do hikes and stuff. You can't like really hang out and like do things in the town or like drive out of town.
So were the hikes like the highlight, or
yeah?
'Cause you guys are big hikers.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, just like if you're an outdoors person at all, like it's crazy.
So did it even touch like Big Ben?
Like
did Big Ben even touch Alaska? Like in terms of just like the vastness.
Big Ben's awesome, but like Big Ben is vastness for a desert. It's a canyon, like it's big mountain range inside of like an insane desert for hours, right? And this is like mountains for hours. So it's like, but it's untouched. You can drive for like hours and see a couple houses, and that's it. And it's like a forest, and forest and mountains, and like nothing's been there, and like that's just crazy. And glaciers everywhere. That was crazy too. So
we talk about, are they going to be gone in our lifetime?
Yeah, some of them will be. They predicted, but some of them will be like they're so big they'll last fucking another 50,000 years.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure somebody told me that up there, where like they think like this ice is so much as like 30 miles and it's like receding like 100 feet a year. You know.
Damn.
So shit like that is like endless.
That's mind-blowing.
And we hiked up to the top of a glacier, and me and Morgan both agreed one of the most insane fucking hikes we've ever done. It's so cool. Down in Seward, it's called Exit Glacier. So you hike up 4.5 miles straight up, and we get down to Stewart. It's like the first thing we do. It's like 3 p.m. We're like, you want to go hike up to the top of this glacier? And we're like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? And we do this hike, and you get up to the top, and it's just an ice field. It's called the Harding Ice Field. So you look out this way, it's the glacier you're looking down, and then the whole horizon is just mountains. And then you look back this way, and as far as you can see is the horizon until it ends is an ice field, and then the mountain peaks peeking out the top. So it just doesn't. Did you see any of the photos I posted of it?
Here and there, but I haven't been on social media that much because
I'll show you this one photo that I got on my phone too. Then for it too.
So we hit the country concert and then the houseboat. I got my ass beat.
So this is the view looking out from the top.
I think I saw this.
Away from the glacier. And so you just see that out in the one direction. And like
Which that's the mountainside.
Mm-hmm. And then like looking back the other way, so this, like if you look this way it would be the mountaintop, and then look this way, that's the ice field. You just see that endlessly. And that's me out there.
I was gonna say I see you.
Yeah. And like that's all. It was nuts, dude. And it was like 60 degrees up there.
Yeah,
just chilling out. And
so how much did they talk about like how much those recover in the winter at all, or like?
No, I mean
does it does it lose like 3 foot and gain like 1 foot of ice in the winter?
They said something. That was another thing that it was hard for me to comprehend. If they were them talking about, like, it takes. I don't want to mess up like it.
Yeah.
But it was like something like.
Don't want to say false numbers on Little Mormon.
I know.
Get you canceled on YouTube real quick.
But it was like the snow that lands up at the mountain peaks. It takes like it's either I'm already completely off of my numbers. It's either 50 years or 500 years for that snow to get to the bottom and then start melting.
What?
Yeah, so it's like that cycle of like.
That's the shit that blows my mind. That no one talks about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Alaska looks so cool. I'm like, dude, I want to know how this shit works.
So like the snow you're standing on was like the snow at the mountaintops, or the ice was the snow like 50 years ago. It took that long to come down there, and like that's what's like the cycle of, like that 2-to-1 ratio of like what's losing versus still retaining. So like you gain 50% back, and then you lose like 100%. I don't know what the actual percentage rate is, but. Yeah, so
crazy.
It's this
so they
weird
were like
cycle.
explaining it, and it was kind of like
and like we did so much stuff over the course
Yeah.
of like 2 weeks. It was hard to retain all the facts on it.
it's on the bucket list for sure. My aunt and uncle were like real. I don't think they've done it yet, but they were really big into wanting to do the Alaskan cruise, and I've heard like a lot of good things. But I kind of agree with you. I think I'd rather try to do the inland thing, like get the old dupster out there and give me a couple tips and just kind of hit it and get after it.
Yeah, when you can drive places and you're young and you can do hikes, and then you're like, well, I want to go outside of town, or I want to go to bars tonight, and you're kind of more free.
And
Whereas
like when you're old, you can go sit on a
yeah, and if you're on a cruise, like, hey, we're gonna go to this town for 6 hours. All right, then, hey, come back on the boat.
Yeah.
But when you're like, well, I want to go here, then I want to drive here, I want to go here. Yeah,
I will do a shout out to cruises though. They are awesome.
I've never done an official cruise.
Do a short one. They're phenomenal. We did one, but
yeah, you make the most out of it, man. You're gonna say that for anything you've done.
hey, you gotta try everything once. I always send people your way. I've been getting a bunch of people asking if we're gonna hang it up after we get married until we get a different place, but I'm like, I know he's gonna say no, but I'm still sending him his way because they're gonna text me and annoy, piss out me. They can annoy Welly too.
Hey, you're fine. Like
You never know. Sometimes
I totally
like,
appreciate it. Like, and like the people in the one bedroom, they're like, hey, we might move out to it. So like, I'm just gonna go month to month. I'm like, well, you guys been cool as shit. So like, if you're just gonna buy a house, just be straight up with me. Like, don't fuck me over and be like, hey, moving out tomorrow.
You require a month notice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, just like be straight with me.
Tell them just to do it in like Christmas time, or like line up at the co-op time. They might be able to slip someone in until you find someone or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So like, they're straightforward, and it's like, whatever, man. Hey, you do you. I know what you got. You guys got to live your life too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even pissed, but like, I just like, you're sweet.
Yeah.
And like, just
So like
just
you've had like no issues.
yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, you're very fortunate. Very blessed. Very blessed.
All right, man. Let's keep rolling. Okay.
Yeah.
I got some things. I don't know if we're gonna have the time to do like a big Travis Schaefer 4.5 hour podcast.
Hey man, I'm fine with that.
But we're approaching up to maybe coming up on 2 hours most likely.
Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
We mentioned the documentaries and stuff, and music. We kind of bullshit along that when we were in the same group. concerts, music, shit like you like that, and that was kind of the same avenue as well. Why do you find yourself liking music, being interested in music? Is there something about it that really just gets you going, or what is it?
I don't know. I just like music, like all. I mean, you know, like all kinds of I can't think of the band right now. The song they have is The Pines. Beyond the Pines. Thrice.
Yeah.
I can see it in your lips. I forget. They're awesome, and you're like, you gotta check out Thrice. You'll like them. I'm like, okay, and I check them out. Now every time we're skiing, we listen to Beyond the Pines. It's like freaking awesome. We get jacked. But yeah, I just all kinds of music. I'll try anything pretty much. I think the hardcore screamo, like crazy hardcore, I'm not like super into, but like I like hard rock and like metal and stuff. There's some really good ones. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about like being in control of like the speakers and the music and just being like lining up stuff, and then people like a song comes on and everyone's like, oh yeah, and, like raging. You're like, yeah, I got it, nailed it. So yeah, but yeah, any type of music. I think my my base is definitely classic rock, just because of the way I was brought up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing too, which I think a lot of people share the same mindset, because I mean, you're not a big country guy, right?
Used to be.
You
not
were?
too much anymore.
Really? Okay. Because I was gonna say you went to country concerts and stuff, but for me, it's not always the like genre; it's the quality. So like, if a freaking I don't know, hard metal, or like even if a Christian band comes out and they rock out and they're like good, they sound like they do on the recording, I'm all about it. Like that's great. But like when someone comes out on stage and they suck ass, like I think the Black Eyed Peas in the Super Bowl a couple years ago were embarrassing. I'm like, that just like ruins the experience for me.
That's true, man. Like I say I got out of country, but then like I'm thinking about it, there's like some newer country acts that I think are fucking kick ass.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Chris Stapleton is nuts. That dude's awesome.
Yeah.
And Sturgill Simpson,
yeah.
I think he's great. There's some other like kind of like the hick bluegrass like newcomers or like
Tyler something.
Tyler Childers. Yeah.
And I haven't gotten like super into him, but like a lot of my friends are like obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, he's good, and they're like, he sounds exactly like he does on his recordings live, and I'm like, I would enjoy that. Like, that's awesome.
You got so much more respect for him.
Yeah, like this year at country concert, man, we like whatever. I mean, I love them, but like John Party and Luke Combs, they killed it. They killed it, and like Luke Combs is just one of those guys that like just balls out every single time. Like he just wants to put on a show. He's into it. Like he's there for like the fans and his band kind of thing. It's just like so cool to see that. I could listen to any genre if that's how they're gonna be, like that into it.
Yeah, which is it's fun to see, man. When you can tell somebody's like that passionate and talented, and it's like
it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it is cool. Country concert, fucking place is wild, dude. I don't even know how to explain it. So country concerts, it's near from where you're from, basically, right?
Kind of. It's like 45 minutes south.
Okay.
Maybe half hour, Fort Loramie. It's
So-
out in the middle of nowhere.
Probably one of the biggest redneck festivals in Ohio. Been going on for a long time.
That was the 40th, I think, just then. Like, technically the year before would have been 40th, but they canceled, so I don't think it's called 41st or 40th. Like,
Okay.
I think that's it.
So 40 years of country music, just a wild fest. What if you had to describe country concert in a sentence? How would you explain this sort of event in just one basic sentence?
The first, I can do like two to four words. It'd be
that's fine.
shit show and clusterfuck. But what I compare it to is it's like an adult county fair. That's what I associate with, because I remember like going to the fair when I was little and it being like awesome and so cool, all the rides and all this stuff. And now for me, that's what country concert is, and it was kind of fun because we've done it. That was our like 7th or 8th year in a row, and it was the same way with the fair in high school. I started kind of getting tired of it, but I was like, I don't really want to go. But then I'd show up and like, all right, I'm gonna have it. This is gonna be fun. I'm having fun. And it's the same thing at country concert. We're like, every year we're like, man, we gotta hang it up at some point. And then like they release a lineup. We're like, oh yeah, all right, we're going. It's gonna be fun. And then we had a really good time this year. And then honestly, the only person that wasn't super great, but I think it's because we've seen him so much, is Chase Rice. Other than that, everyone put on a hell of a show. Like Hardy was out there balling out, and I don't know, they were all having it was a riot. So yeah, shit show and clusterfuck.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I went 14, 15, and 16, and those are the only years I went. And I think I might keep it up on the shelf. It's I'm content with not going back at this point.
My freaking realtor, when I bought this house, it must have been 17. She'd been going for like 25 years or something, and I was looking for a house while like during like at that same time, and she's all about country concert. That's all we'd ever talk about. And then I didn't hear from her for like a month after country concert. I'm like, what the hell? So I like called her or texted her something. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, like my daughter's getting married soon, and I like broke my ankle at country concert, so I've been trying to rest it up. I'm like, that's fine. I completely like you need to get that thing fixed, but like, why the hell are you like 60 years old and breaking your ankle at country concert?
It's a shit show, man. That's
Probably
why.
us.
And dude, it is fun. It's just crazy. It's like, and like I know people can have like fun there, just not being completely insanely boozed up. Like at least I was in college, and I just like that's my recollection of it is drink so much alcohol that it's like over the course of 5 days. It's like I don't know if I ever want to do that again.
Yeah,
like,
I did
drink
that.
like that.
I tried the sober experience when it was John Party and Luke Combs, and it was tough. They were phenomenal concerts, but the people around me, I'm like, oh gosh, I need a beer. But it was awesome.
What's some of your favorite acts that you saw live? Because I mean, you saw a shit ton, man. You've been to a lot of concerts.
Yeah, I'll go to pretty much anyone. That's tough. I think like a lot of ones that come to mind just thinking would be we saw Fleetwood Mac. That was really cool. We got to see, so my dad's like big band growing up that we'd always listen to in the car with Steve Miller Band. So Peter Frampton opened for him and then Steve Miller played. That was phenomenal.
That's cool.
We had a good time with Dad, which we don't do all that often, so that was a riot. We actually ended up getting him tickets for Father's Day for Motley Crue, which it's Def Leppard, Poison, Motley Crue, and Joan and the Jets. Is that concert at the
This year
American
coming
Ballpark?
up?
It was supposed to be 2 years ago, but they keep canceling because of COVID, so it's supposed to be next year. So
They put all the way out to 2022
yeah, I
now?
keep pushing back. So I'm like really pumped because I really want to see Motley Crue live. We saw Journey and Def Leppard in concert together. They're phenomenal. So just I'm down to see anybody.
Yeah.
Really.
I thought you were gonna say you're one good old country boy, dude. What's his name? Alan Jackson.
Alan Jackson was phenomenal. That's actually crazy too because he was at country concert this year,
Oh yeah.
and we saw him 3 years ago on his own, and he played for like probably 2 to 3 hours straight and like killing it. And this like at country concert, you could tell he was slowing down like big time. He played for maybe hour, a little bit over an hour, and was done. And he played some good music, but like
That's a little bit of the festival atmosphere though. Like
That's true.
shows
That's
like
true.
they're like they got like such a tight time slot. Like they just can't like if they're headliners sometimes like those.
he told everyone to get up on the stage.
Wait them.
Yeah, he said everyone get on up here, and then like security was freaking out because the stage was gonna collapse. And stuff. People got up; it was full. It was all full.
That's cool, but
Crazy old guys.
nice man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We've seen like David Allan Coe was crazy to see because he's so old, and like he just sat there and told stories the whole time. You're like, what the hell? I'm trying to think who else. But yeah, we've seen some good ones. I mean, I saw Leonard Skinner, Bad Company. I saw a couple times. They're really good. I saw who's the country singer that passed away? He was at the Smart Chestnut, David Lee Murphy, and Joe Diffie. Joe Diffie passed away from COVID. He was in Tiffin at that place that does the music.
I don't know. And Tiffin.
I think it was Tiffin.
The Ritz.
Yeah, the Ritz.
Okay.
They were all at the Ritz and they played together, and that was super cool. And then he passed away, so like, I'm at the point now where I'm like wanting to see some of these bands that aren't going to be around forever. Because I'm like, I can go see country concert or see country music all the time, but like some of the old classics like that aren't going to be around that are phenomenal. Like I want to see them.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. People have been saying that about Def Leppard and those bands for fucking 30 years now, and those guys are still
Their
going.
drummer is one arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know
he's
that.
one arm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely
nuts.
bizarre. So cool to see. Yeah.
Sick, man. There's. I don't know. I mean, how old are you? You're 27.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 26. It's like there's. I don't know if you think about it, but like you telling these stories and like me thinking about things that I've done. I feel like I've done so much shit
Yeah.
that a lot of people haven't done, and like
Yeah.
get to experience things. So,
Yeah, I think it ties. I mean, I guess I'll say one thing and then hit your
Yeah, you
question.
can.
But I think it ties back to like how really. I know we have our like frustrations with our job and stuff, but like at the end of the day, how blessed we are to have a job because that's what enables us to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I always have to like humble myself and sit down like, all right, you are pretty well off and you're very fortunate.
Yeah. 100%, man. It's hard, 100% to be like not count your blessings and like be fortunate and like humble yourself. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, but you take the initiative to make your life your own too.
Yeah, you've said it a ton of shit on a ton of podcasts, just how you did the marathon thing because like that was the cream of the crop in this area, and I'm 100% the same way. And I don't know, that definitely affects your like mindset and stuff on those things.
Yeah. Well, on that, man, I've done it with maybe half people. I do a little bit of stalking on Instagram.
I love this part.
So I think I got like 5 or 6 of my favorite photos of just to I don't know, something that like caught my eye. I usually like, it's usually a lot easier, but you had so much shit on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's so much shit. Like I was scrolling.
I stopped. I don't remember the last time I posted a picture either. It's just always someone that's like tagging for my shit and stuff.
Yeah. So there was like a bunch of stuff on there. So I went like between that and like your Instagram, and I got 6 photos here just to go through. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, just like I'm gonna show you. Then you say like this, what's going on, and like what you think of when you see the photo. So here's number 1.
Oh yeah. So this one is at my good buddy is at his house. I think he still rents to this day. This is probably a year or 2 out of high school, maybe 3 years out of high school. And it was a Christmas sweater party. We're big Cincinnati fans. My dog's name's Cincy. And then the chubbies or the shorts, and those are actually glow in the dark peacocks. I think they're called the cocks maybe, and they're literally glow in the dark peacock shorts.
Nice.
And actually, I think my phone's there, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's plugged. Yeah, I think is that the wire right there? Yeah, I think that's the wire plugged into the mic because I'm running the music. So
fucking DJ Etzler, dude.
So yeah, I don't know if it was like, I think it was always this Saturday after Good Friday, he would have a party, and I mean, the garage would be packed, staying in the room only. Like, the house is just crazy. Then we wake up in the morning, there's beer cans everywhere. People, the usual, pissing themselves, throwing up all over the yard. And it was every year, and I mean, those are the parties I just remember looking forward to those so much. Like, I can't wait to go home on Thanksgiving break for this party, see all these people we haven't seen for a while. And yeah, so that's that story. And then, that, of course, that's Anna. We call her Ferndale, but that's my girlfriend at the time, fiance now, so.
Nice, man. Okay, number 2 here.
I knew this was gonna come up. So I'm gonna one of my buddy's weddings this year. It's my college buddy. He's like, hey, we're making our website, and this picture is what reminds me of you the most. I'm gonna put it in our wedding. And so this is for a while there, coming out of high school, we want to do like a road trip or like a trip or whatever, like a graduation trip. But we didn't really have like money or time or anything. Like we were all working and shit. So there's a Southeast Ohio, AEP used to strip mine down there, and they would reclaim the land, and it's like 30,000 acres of reclaimed land, and they have these like where the strip mines were, they're big ponds or like small lakes and stuff now, and they stock them with fish. And so my dad's like, hey, check this place out. They would go like in the 80s, and so he gave me his old map, and we went down, and I figured out that we're just pulling fish out. I figured out I could just drop in the water because it's real hot, and I just dropped the line right below my legs and I'd hook in the fish left and right. So that's one of the fish I caught. So
that's a great photo, man.
Yeah, I loved it. We bring Grandpa down a bunch. We got a bunch of good memories. My Grandpa, because he can't see, so he'll throw his bobber out, and when it goes under, when he gets a bite, I'll tell him like, hey, I always say fish on, and he'd be like, fish on, and he'd pull it back and hook. But we're catching his little bluegill, and he pulled back too hard the one time in a canoe and flipped the whole canoe. And of course, I'm the only one that lost any of my shit. I'm over there like grabbing my grandpa, like keeping him out of the water. And oh man, we've had some good times down there for sure.
How old are you in this photo?
Probably 21.
21.
Probably 21.
You have a great time, man.
Maybe 20.
You can tell by your face. It's just
Yeah.
a good time face.
Gosh, man. Oh, I have a riot down there. I loved it. We went last year. My dad went last year for the first time in like 20 years with us, and he was like, oh man, just like I remember. And yeah, we love down there. I'd recommend anyone go down. It's free camping. It's beautiful. There's like a bird watch area, but we go out and see the stars at night. It's real dark out there, so it's like crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good time.
Nice. Where's that at? What's it called?
It's called AEP, I think recreation. It's either recreation or recreation. It's like a little play on words they do there.
Mm-hmm. Recreation
land. It's like McConnellsville, Ohio, or Cumberland, Ohio is where you drop into the park. It's really cool.
Cool, man.
It's pretty mind blowing.
Good stuff. All right, photo number 3.
Yeah, you know where that's at. That's a good old country concert photo.
Yeah.
About as classic as it gets.
It does. I mean, you got
Chubby's. That's actually so that's, again, my fiance now, Anna. That's actually my mom's one piece from like the 80s. Yeah, I think Anna still has it, but she wore it, so that was pretty cool.
Nice. You got the Mount Rushmore shorts.
Yep, the Mount Crushmores, as they call them. I still have that collared shirt, but the sleeves are ripped off and it's got wine everywhere. Because I think that year I thought it'd be a good idea to bring a wine bag to the concert and do slap the bag.
Yeah.
And my best friend, his brother-in-law, is a big old guy, and he kept acting like he was slapping the bag, but he wasn't. And then he'd give it to me and slap it real hard, and so he ended up having to carry me back to the camper before the end of the. I didn't even see the headliner. So
Yeah.
classic country concert photo.
Totally. I mean, you even got the Harambe shirt.
Yep, Hillary killed Harambe. Still up in my closet right now.
Nice. Alright, photo 4, man. We gotta do it.
Yep, that's Valpo. That's that might not even be 21, honestly. I think that was like one of our first wins in 20 years or something. But yeah, Anna would always come up to the games and support me, and we'd always have a good time. And yeah, that's just, again, that's like that'd be a classic Valpo picture. Just after the game, get us down a quick picture and head on out to the parties.
Is that you swoot her over, you throwing the football, and yeah.
I don't know about that. apparently she used to always clip out clippings in the papers from the football games in high school. She didn't even know who I was, but she had clippings from other people that she was doing that I was in them. So she had them like hanging up on a poster or something, and so that was kind of funny. But yeah, at that point I think she was already won over. So
What position did you play?
I played receiver. I kicked a little bit, but primarily receiver. I'm left-footed, so my ball would, I think, slice to the right, and I would just go out because I'm real cool. One of the punters is in my wedding, and I just go out there and dig around with them. And the coaches kind of told me to stop because they're right-footed kickers. The punt slices the other way, and the guys couldn't catch my punts, so they're like, weren't getting any practice. So
Yeah.
I kind of stopped doing that, and then I kicked in high school and stuff, but
Nice.
yeah.
Good stuff, man. Alright. We got a couple more to
If my buddy's watching, he's gonna be pissed. So he probably won't be pissed, but I think it's hilarious. So my buddy, it's a college buddy. He bought a house in Milwaukee, and it's right over top of where all the planes come in to the airport. But he wanted that because he thinks it's so cool. I mean, they're like 200 feet over top. You can see them. You can see the wheels, everything. They're landing, and his house, they insulated it and like soundproofed the windows and all that shit because it's so loud. But this week he invited people over for kind of like a housewarming party, and then he was tearing down his garage, and he's like your typical like Wisconsin guy, like got the accent, says like bubbler, and I feel like they all have like this like temper where they get like really worked up about stuff, and I'm really good at egging people on. And so I think that morning we had like drank a little bit the night before. I was feeling a little bit rough, and I just go out, and his family's coming, his cousins, they're all dressed in work gear and stuff, and I'm like, screw it. And because like everyone wanted to like push over the building, but no one wanted to hit the concrete.
Yeah.
It's like, screw it. So I go out there, I think that was actually a Make America Great Again hat, which could have been causing some issues. It's backwards, I don't know if you can see. But I'm pretty sure it is. And I had my chubbies on, I'm sitting there whacking concrete, and they're getting pissed. I think his cousin like cussed me out. But I was
Why are you getting mad?
just because they had a plan and I wasn't following it or something. But I was having a hell of a time, so yeah, snapped a picture of me.
Looks good, man.
Hell yeah. Back in my prime.
Yeah. and of course, what we were talking about most recently. This is, I think.
Yeah,
this
so
is last
yeah,
weekend,
so this
right?
is this trip. I just wanted to make sure because I don't think we got very many pictures last year, but yeah, this is last weekend out on the houseboat. This would be like basically the family minus my sister's boyfriend Derek, and then of course Ty is on the far left. That's my cousin. He does everything with us. But I have to give a shout out to Kuhn. Kuhn calls him Dave for some reason all the time. I'm like, yeah, me and my cousin's like Dave. I'm like, yeah, Dave.
Not even his name?
No, his name's Tyler, but he calls him Dave, so I just kind of go with it. Kuhn calls him it all the time. But yeah, that's just us on the back of the houseboat getting a quick picture in.
So I mentioned it to you when I saw this photo. If Clark, you're watching this, I said, hey, Etzler, man, Austin looks like the bigger of the two. I think Austin could take Clark if it comes down to it.
I got about 30 seconds till I'm out of breath, so if I get him pinned down, we'll be good. If not, it's game over.
Hey, if this fight goes down, I'll sanction it. I'll host it. I'll set up the boxing ring if we need to. I'll put money down.
Boxing? I don't know. I might be able to get him in boxing. We'll see.
So Clark, if you guys want to do a boxing match, I'll host this, and I got money on your brother Austin. Dude.
See, but Clark's a lot more like you though. He would never. He'll die before he loses. So
yeah, that would be my problem too. I'd be like, break my arm. Though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he'll do. That's what he'll do, and I just don't have the heart to do it.
All right, man. Well, that's all I had for photos. So.
Those are great. I love that part of the show. What do you call that? What's that?
I don't have the segment or anything.
You gotta make a segment name for it. I'll think about it. It could be like spinning in.
Oh yeah, you should do something like that.
It'd be funny.
So I mean, we've been talking about doing this podcast for I don't know, like 2 months now.
I'll say at least pretty early on.
Yeah, you were one of the first I texted.
Yeah, I kind of brushed it off. I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'll do it, but whatever. But then now it's kind of pretty sweet. And then when I was like committed to it, I told you I'd do it, but just wasn't working out for whatever reason.
You're busy, man. You got life. I'm doing shit.
I say right back at you.
Yeah, and then like every time you're around, it's like, well, I'm doing something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You
got to figure it out though.
Yeah, totally. I'm having fun. It's been nice catching up. What do you know? What's next in store for Austin Etzler?
Just
playing it by ear.
Just that the wedding's a big thing. I started my MBA in August, so that'll be a focus for the next couple of years.
Are you gonna have a specific focus? Damn, dude, you're just going more and more college.
Hey, American Marathon's gonna pay for it, may as well. Give me a better resume moving forward. I don't know. I'm not gonna have a focus, but I think I might entertain the stock trading side of it because there's like collectives you can do. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool to kind of get an inside scoop on it, kind of learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, totally.
So might go that realm. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Just going and doing it, and then Anna finishes up school next like May, and she said should be working by August. So I think at that time just kind of getting it figured out, move out of this place and get our own like more permanent house kind of thing. And I think we were talking about trying to do the kid thing within a year after the wedding. So
wow,
yeah, so it's just gonna start coming real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned how the last 2 years when you first got engaged just fucking flew by like that.
Yeah, it did. Everyone said it would, and I knew it would. Our friends, our real good college friends, they did a 2-year thing too, and it flew by. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think just life for the most part, kind of whatever happens, but that's the plan for now.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, and I'm sure that you'll play it by ear and make it work. And
yeah, roll the punches. I mean, stuff's changing. So I read I think Mike Hannigan said his favorite book was Where's My Cheese?
You read it?
Yeah, I read it. It was sitting right next to my cubicle. You should grab it and read it. I put it back. I read it. It was pretty interesting just about rolling with the changes and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I could buy into it. It was cool. It was interesting.
Do you read often or?
No, not as much as I want to. I love reading, but like I haven't done it. Like I need to. I wanted to read the Bible from start to finish just because I never have. And like you go to church and they like talk about it, like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But then I found this thing that like kind of explains the backstory and all that shit. So I was trying to read it and then listen to that backstory so I could get a fuller understanding. But like I just haven't been able to keep up as well as I'd hoped. But yeah, I love reading. Like when I was younger, I read all the time just to read. Like John Grisham, I remember reading. He's like a weird mystery guy. There's a couple like movies and stuff on him. Not on him, but based off his books. Those are really good. I read like all the Harry Potter books. I think the last one I read in like 4 hours and like cried. I think Dumbledore died in the second to last one maybe, but like I cried when Dumbledore died. Like I was all into Harry Potter.
So
yeah,
like the movies coming out then?
They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. The books were for sure better. I think that's how most things are. Most like book movie things. But
yeah. I mean, there's just more story that you can put
in
the book
I can't,
form.
Yeah, so like the other one I read that I can remember well is American Sniper. And so like a lot of my buddies don't read like at all, and they read American Sniper and they were like obsessed with it. And then the movie came out and they're like, this is bullshit, this movie sucks, like this, like they missed this part in this one, he walked this way instead of that way. I'm like, dude, it's a movie, like they have to fit like a 400-page book in 2 hours. Like it's gonna miss some things, you're just gonna have to accept that. So yeah, I would say most of the time the books are better.
Yeah.
Chronicles of Narnia, big Chronicles of Narnia guy. I thought those books are awesome. Yeah, I like reading. I for sure want to do it more. The problem I have with it is it makes me fall asleep. Like,
Really?
Yeah, 10 minutes and I'm out.
Huh. I don't know. I get more awake, I think.
Really?
If I'm into it, I'll wake you right up. Like I'm saying, that like any TV show or movie, like if I'm interested, like I'd be dead ass tired 10 minutes in if I'm interested, and like I'm wide awake for the whole thing.
Some of the TV shows have been like that. They've been messing me up. I think, again, I guess I'll just defer because a lot of that has been when I'm reading the Bible. I don't know if it's out of boredom or if it's out of comfort. Let's go with the comfort side. But yeah,
I don't know, man.
maybe boredom.
I've thought about doing that one too.
I think it's just it's kind of like I feel like it's just like running a marathon. I feel like something you should do just to say you've done it.
Yeah.
I will say another cool perspective that kind of religion wise is Valpo has a big like a diverse student body, and we had a couple guys that were from Kuwait, and I believe they were Muslim, and they had a really different perspective. But like we've talked, he like randomly messaged me on Facebook, hey, like what's going on in the States? Like I'm hearing this, and this. I'm like, no, like that's not it. Like this, and this, and like we go back and forth. That's really cool. And like I remember whenever, when it was the election for like Trump and Clinton. And he knew me. He's like, hey man, fuck Trump. I'm like, all right. But he's just like, it was cool to see those perspectives, and just, like hearing how they view the United States because it's not super favorable.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. So that was like another thing I really liked about college was hearing those perspectives. One of the kids was a Chinese kid that's dad was the like owner of one of the largest construction companies in Beijing. So like pretty tied in with the government stuff too. Pretty crazy.
I bet that was some wild
It
stories.
was cool. They were awesome. They, for some reason I always ended up in their groups. It was like Shuai, Wei Chen, and Fawn, and we'd go out to their cars after we finished a project. They're like, yeah, let's go out to the cars and drink some beer, smoke cigarettes. So I'd like sit out there and drink beer with them. I wasn't really into the cigarette thing that much. But they like taught me how to open a beer bottle with my teeth, like just random shit. They were awesome.
I mean, those are like the experiences that are so hard to take away of like things that you can learn from from a completely different worldview.
Crazy.
And like even if it's true or not true 100% of like their perspectives built on like their news portrayal of the US. So, like that's what they think.
Yeah.
And that's the basis they're coming from. So that's
And
funny.
art
to have
and
the
it's just,
interaction.
I think we get a little bit of it too
Mhm.
from the opposite perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting position with my friend George from Brazil. So, he says it's like a complete 180 right now of like Brazil, it's like social climate and their media and the United States at the moment. We're completely flip flopped on like the issues. We're like, so they've been pretty liberal and socialism is like they're kind of like what they group in with
In
like
Brazil.
and like that led to a ton of corruption, and like ultimately like that's the issue with any structuring is corruption. Like anything
It's
could probably
humans.
work in
Humanity.
fundamentally
Yeah.
or on paper,
Yes.
and it's like but like even if you have a free market, corruption's gonna
People are
fucking
full.
destroy it.
Yep. Yes.
So either way, anyway, but like so like they're maybe like huge like all of their media is like push conservatism, and like
That is absolutely bizarre.
and then like needs to reject this establishment, and like all the media is like doing this and like trying to like persuade all of the
Is
public.
it working? Are people?
Yeah, and I mean I would say like probably like so like the population mindset shifting to be like it appears like they're going in the direction of like conservatism, and like our perspective is, what he sees in the U.S. is like our media is shifting left and becoming more and more liberal and trying to shift the public dynamic to going in a liberal direction.
Do you think
And
there's
he's
a
like,
reason for it?
No,
Either way, like Brazil, like why is that?
because they're rejecting socialism in a way because they see the corruption and the things that it's ruined. And I think it's probably the same reason for us is like we saw the shit that's corruption here in the United States,
From
and
conservative side.
and like shit's just kind of like people, and like people here have been, maybe not had a fortunate deck of hands, and like fuck this system, the system sucks.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck this, the system sucks.
Yeah. And they're both opposite.
Yeah, it's both opposite.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. It's interesting talking to him like that, and it's like seeing that and like trying to have that conversation basis of just, you know, when you have a little bit of a more of a worldview outside the United States, it like completely changes your perspective of everything.
If you can humble yourself enough to listen to other people's like thoughts and ideas and perspectives, it's pretty eye opening.
So, man, and that's like what I'm doing here, trying to just, you know.
Yeah, this is badass.
We're a bunch of nobodies, just documenting that, but it's fun.
It may catch on, you never know. I've loved it. I think it's awesome. I can't, like, because like I was telling you, I don't really, like, stop and, like, listen the whole time. I just watch it while I'm, like, working or, I don't know, driving a lot of times. And there's times where I get so drawn in. I'm like, he's so right. Like, for Dylan, because some of the stuff he's saying, I was like, no, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This stuff, I'm like, dude, he's so spot on. Yeah. Or that bar he's always talking about, I was just cracking up. And I was like, we got the same thing.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing is, like, I have a project for, like, the end of the year, what I'm going to do with everything. It's like, I have, like, a culmination building for, like, the plan for all of this, actually. And like that's the point is like, you know, you think like, oh, I think his perspective on that's wrong, or like his idea is like, you know, he's missing this point, and like that's the point of like me wanting to do it is for like,
collaborate them all and see what it looks like,
and like for yourself as you grow, you know, and like that's totally fine. Like everybody can change their ideas. I change my ideas all the time on a weekly basis. Sometimes of like, I think that's right. Oh wait, no, maybe not.
Yeah, seriously.
And like just kind of like have that position of like it's totally fine, but like like this is the first time in history to like, you know, we have the ability to like actually look back on our thoughts. You know, you can always think about what you thought like 20 years ago, but now it's like, hey, I'm gonna sit down and like watch myself 20 years ago, like
look at that delete.
Yeah, which would be crazy. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. So.
Oh, it's gonna be mind blowing.
Alright, man. On that, I kind of do like a standard set of topics. You watch or listen to most of, if not all, the episodes in at least some capacity.
I'm getting there.
So you kind of already have an idea what's coming. It's kind of ruining the gag a lot. Everybody I talk to knows what's coming up, and they have some sort of preparation for the questions, I'm assuming. But so I got a handful of standard questions, and we'll get into those now if that's cool, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So first one up is. How do you define success in your life, and how does that drive your decision making?
For me, I think they're just like, I think you hear it a lot, but like the three things I keep in like the forefront for me is like faith, family, and then I would say like work or your career. And I kind of try to keep those in the focus, and then like just always trying to drive those forward. Like I don't know, I just always hear like people say like, oh yeah, like that guy was, you know, so he was doing so much and he was so successful and this and that, and then like he retired or he stopped walking every day and like a year later he was dead. And like I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like if you don't keep moving and being active and like growing, a lot of for me like success is just continuing to grow. Like at the end of the day, if you can, and everyone's definition of success is different, but for me, like if I can you know, raise a family, like support a family, and like make my family proud, like for me that's what success is. I definitely am not someone, like I'm not a corporate ladder climber. I have no desire to do that. I'm just here to live life and try to like make others happy, may have a little bit of an impact, try to help them out when I can, and give my honest opinion. And that's, for me, I mean, success is just kind of, I guess, continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Never stopping.
Yeah. I think my perspective of you is like, I don't know. I mean, that's probably like your definition of your faith. What were the faith?
Faith, family, and then
family,
like
work. And like work life.
Yeah, there's some saying, but I can't remember what it is. But
and I mean that aligned to me is what I interpret that as, like, you know, you're holding true to your values. You know,
yeah,
you're being yourself, you're being authentic, and trying to make the most of it.
Yeah, and
you know, success is interesting. People kind of saying it differently, especially with a lot of people who are like us and younger. Is vastly different. And I don't know, I kind of like want to reject a little bit of like the mainstream success.
Yeah.
Fuck the mainstream success, dude. That stuff sucks.
So I'll say this. I'll probably get a lot of flack for this if anyone's listening, but like I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we've talked about it or not, but me and Chris Blazevich go back and forth because he's a diehard Musk guy, and I'm like, yeah, he's done some cool stuff, and he's like made things happen, but like a lot of the stuff, I don't know, like I feel like the electric car, like he didn't invent the electric car, he just made it happen, like he made it work, like he didn't just come up with that, like that was a known thing. A lot of his stuff is just bringing things to fruition. I'm like, I respect that, that's cool, but like it's not like novel in my mind. And then I just think some of the stuff he's done will put your average Joe in jail for the rest of their life. And I'm like, I have to say I don't respect all that, but at the same time though, he has built quite the regime.
Yeah.
So I see both sides of it. I'm assuming you're a pretty big Musk guy, aren't you?
I give my one friend a shout out. We're always texting back and forth. He's out in California, and he's the biggest musketeer that is on earth. So we're
flicking me off right now.
We're talking about, you know, we're gonna do this sometime, doing a sit down. Yeah, but he's the biggest fan of like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. So really super interested in having that conversation. But you know, I respect Elon Musk and like the insane stuff that he's able to push together. Like, you know, I don't want to credit him, me personally, as like you said, creating an electric car, but
he's made it. I mean, he's made it happen.
His ability to collaborate and push his team for a collective vision is insane, you know, and I know a lot of people don't have that ability to be able to, damn, dude, that was loud. I ended up right in the microphone. I'm sorry. But, you know, like, to have a vision and make it go through to an actual product and be in its own right successful, it's crazy.
I think the rocket stuff's mind blowing too. Like being able to like land a rocket's pretty crazy. And then I guess the thing that I get stuck on a lot is like I feel like everyone like says like Tesla's his like thing, and I'm like, okay, it is, but like I still don't think it's an electric car, because I think everything that he did with the Tesla you could do with a gas powered car, but he's committed it to an electric car and just made it so like mind-blowing and awesome that you like have to drive it, so I completely respect that.
Yeah, he's an insane marketer, dude. That's why people live or die.
Yeah.
Which, let's get a tangent on this sidetrack. I want to like, you mentioned the space launch, and that's a big thing that just happened this last week.
Yeah.
The new age space race. What are your thoughts on these billionaires pushing each other to go to space?
I don't know, I got mixed emotions about it.
Same.
I just feel like there's so much like hurt in the world, and these guys are just blowing their money because they can blow it, and I'm just like, it's so cool to see a person, I guess I would say pretty much self-made, go and do that is just so cool. But then at the same time, I was like, dude, these people are like dying, and because I'm like a huge believer in like the free market and capitalism and stuff, and these guys have the opportunity to like fix so much stuff and make people's lives so much better, and they're choosing not to. I mean, they've made people's lives better, but they've like gained off of it, and I feel like at some point you kind of got to give it back a little bit. So that's where I'm like back and forth on it, but it's just so mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm exact same way, conflicted of like, I think 100%. I mean, that's the next frontier, right? Why? It's obvious to me, and like some of the publications that I read, like why there's a race to go to space.
Why is it?
Mining asteroids, dude. They want the minerals.
I've heard. It's probably you that have told me that. Like, you know, you say something you can make like gold, like.
Yeah, they're gonna find
non-valuable, like just a non.
Yeah, there's gonna be like go to these asteroids, an abundance of minerals that are insanely difficult for us to mine on Earth here, super pollution causing, and like, hey, if we can send some ships that can land and go up, start mining these asteroids and bring.
You think that's what this is all about?
Yeah, they're gonna
part of it.
They're gonna bring minerals back, and why is Elon Musk doing it? Because
he needs more shit for his batteries.
His batteries, dude. Yeah. He needs.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, because there's studies that because it kind of gets back to like the oil and gas side of it to me too. Like I truly am very passionate about oil and gas. I really think it's a good thing. I do think it's going to phase out eventually. I think people's timelines are completely off, but whatever, like, just keep talking shit about oil and gas and keep pumping in your car, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen eventually, and I have seen studies saying that like mining like those rare earth metals is more of a pollution than like burning your fossil fuels. So
Yeah, so get it off the planet, and that's what their goal is. 100%.
That would freaking fix everything. I mean that, yeah.
So like
that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a new industry, and they want to be the owner of their market. So like Bezos recognized that, and like
That's bizarre.
which is awesome.
That makes so much sense though.
Yeah, I think that's like the good side, and like the technology advancements that come along from space travel are infinite. Like it's going to improve technology in everyday life. I mean, that's how the microwave was invented back in the 60s.
Velcro.
You know, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You know, and like that just adds. You know, will make life better. The other side of it is like I 100% understand the side of like where people go, fuck billionaires, dude.
Yeah.
These guys suck.
So like I said, I'm a big capitalism guy, free market guy, but something's not right when you have the numbers like the top 1% stuff. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but like there's a disconnect there. Something's not right. Something does need to be done. I don't know if it's government influence. I don't think that fixes it, but like I'll admit something's not right.
Yeah, and it's like fucked up because like you see that Bezos is worth what, 200 billion, and like he starts Blue Origin, and like the entire project subsidized by the U.S. government, and they get paid by the government to do the project, and then
that was a lot of my beef with Musk. Like my whole thought was like he wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for government subsidy.
Yeah, so that's like the argument for a lot of like the conservative talkers is like, well, hey, you know, we need to respect these billionaires. It's like, yeah, but like a lot of these billionaires made their wealth off of like a government aided system, at least to start off.
Yeah,
and it's like there's give and take with like the nuances to that conversation.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's super fucking wild to think. I mean, the new age space race, man, and to think like in our lifetime that we could be potentially mining asteroids. The fuck, dude? That's wild.
That'd be mind blowing. I'm trying to think.
That's your new job, man. After you get your MBA, man, you be shipping your ass up on a rocket.
Is it Hyperloop 1 or Hyper 1 loop that Branson's doing? It's that tube travel stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't know much about it, but
I think that could be big too. I would really like to get into that.
Yeah,
but it's all conceptual right now, and I'm like not into. I'm just into getting shit done. I'm not really into like research, so
yeah,
they can figure it out.
Okay, sorry, I went on a little bit of a side tangent there, but we were talking about like success and like monetary and billionaires, and like that was like a huge thing that came up this week, and just curious on your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I'm leaning a little more into this one more time. Okay.
Okay.
What is there a reason why you lean towards a free market capitalism society? Well, is there a reason like why you have that philosophy support system?
Because I think that the United States is the best country that's ever been on the earth, and anyone that tells you otherwise is full of shit. And like, I don't know, it's like pulled so many people out of poverty. And like, I'm not saying it's perfect, it's not a cure-all, but like, I think a lot of the advancements that we've seen and seen so rapidly are a lot of that is driven by capitalism. I think if you look at countries that have moved away from that framework, they kind of taper off. They don't succeed. It kind of keeps people in check. It makes you, obviously not everyone has like the same opportunities in life, but it makes you accountable for like your actions, and you're accountable for your success. It's like you're accountable for your consequences. You're accountable for your successes. You're accountable for your failures. Sometimes not everyone's treated the same with those, but like at the end of the day, you get held accountable. Like there's incentive for you to take a risk. There's incentive for there's incentive for you to do the right thing. Like,
yeah, totally.
So I think that's a big part of it. I noticed, and I think you've had it a lot too, like this always a mindset of like strap up your boots, work your ass off, and it'll pay off. And
yeah, that's the mindset I was ingrained in me at a very young age.
Yeah, I don't think it's perfect. And I do think, there is a need for government intervention. I just don't think we're going about it the right way. Like, I think we're fucking ourselves hard. Like, when we don't need to be, we could be doing a lot better. But at the end of the day, I still think we're like the best country in the world. And just some of the things that the country's done over its life is like pretty mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
For good or bad.
It's young. I mean, country hasn't been around that long.
No.
And it's crazy to think about. I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know if there is. You're never gonna get a right answer because it's so hard to fucking say. And like to our comments earlier, corruption will fuck it up.
Yeah.
Or can't fuck up anything.
I'm curious too. Like, I'm just curious. Like the people that bash. I'm all about making our country better and like making like changing things and taking suggestions and this and that and like improving on injustices and all of that. But I'm just curious, like how many people are leaving this country because you're free to leave. You won't face prosecution or anything like that compared to like people that are coming in. Like, are people like coming in droves? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the case. But like what gets pitched to us is people are coming in droves and it's like out of control and like don't see very many people leaving. So like to me that kind of speaks for itself too.
Yeah, I mean it is a land. I mean it's always been, at least preaches opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's the perspective of probably immigration. You know.
Yeah.
Fuck this. My life sucks. I want an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that it is too. I think it's awesome. I mean America's great. I mean I've had a great life and I can only speak from that perspective.
Yeah,
so.
And I'm not here to say that if you fail or if you're not in a good position, it's because you don't like work hard or something. I'm not saying that. I just hope, like my other hope is that like people can sit down and like have legit conversations about things and like be face to face and be like try to understand where people are coming from and hear like both sides of stories and try to take an open mindset into things.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people get defensive, and it's not. I think a lot of times it's not an attack. Like, not everything that's a discussion or a debate or a disagreement has to be like an attack at somebody. Like, I'm not directly attacking you. Like, it's just we're having a conversation about like theory, basically.
Yeah.
But people get personal about it, and it just that stuff sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's because they have their own shared experiences, and you know maybe whatever thing that you may be fighting for is something that they view it as fucking somebody that they know, you know?
Yep.
It's a hard fucking conversation and it's hard to be actually right because nobody is.
I don't think anyone's right. I really don't. I don't even think I'm right. I just think I have like you said, a different mindset, different opinion, different experiences, and that's what influences me. And the next guy over's got completely different things, and I need to respect that, and they should respect how I see things as well. And life goes on.
Yeah, that's all there is to it, man. So we kind of talked about future a little bit and like the world, progression of the world. Let's go back to yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now? So you'll be what, 30 to 35?
Yeah.
36?
I don't know. I think just raising a family. I don't think anything too crazy. I'm pretty content with that. Working and raising a family. I don't know. Yeah, just living life, nothing too crazy. Maybe I like be out of this place, probably have this like as a rental kind of thing, and have like a property outside of town. Not really I've been living in town for the last couple of years, and it's got its perks, but I love being outside of town.
You really pretty much think you're gonna stick to the Ohio thing?
I'm not. No, I mean I think me and Anna are both open to going pretty much anywhere really. I don't know how much we're going to pursue it, like how hard we're going to pursue it, but if opportunities came up, we'd 100% entertain them.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we would like to get back here just to raise a family around family. It's pretty important, especially for her.
Totally. She's from the same town?
Yeah. Yep. Lima.
Nice. Okay. Different high school?
Yeah. One of them Catholic school girls.
How did you guys meet?
Actually, we didn't meet until college, just at a random party. I actually proposed to her at the place that we met. I think it would have been 4 years to the day that we had met on a Saturday. Yeah.
Nice.
Had a little barn, decked it out with lights and stuff, and straw and all that and proposed. So
Good stuff, man.
yeah, but yeah, we just met at that party. And my buddy had a pond, and we had a little party. And she came over later, and I was like, oh, that girl's pretty cute, and she's actually really cool. And just kind of started going after her after that. So
Yeah.
she told me no the first time, but second time I got her.
Kept pursuing, huh?
Yeah, yep, relentless pursuit.
Nice, man. That's cool. I mean, congratulations again. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys are getting
you
married.
too.
That's wild.
It'll happen to you as well before you know it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my life just flashed before my eyes right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The last hurrah from every podcast. So the one more question we have is, Austin, what is the meaning of life?
Ooh, never thought I'd hear the question. I don't know. It kind of goes back to like the definition of success for me. I think you just got to continue to grow, and like I heard a lot at work that like you'll never know everything about like the petroleum industry. You're never gonna know everything about life. So just having that desire to continue to learn and to grow is really big. And then there's Alan Jackson's song. I can't think of. I think it's Small Town Southern Man.
You want to sing it?
Something about a small town Southern man. But just that song that like sums it up for me, because he just says like, I don't know, he's like happy, like he's at the end of the day, he's like, I feel like whenever everything's done and you can like lay down and be like content with your life, and you can like pass away, like know that you're going on to better, and that you did good here on earth. Like I think that to me is the meaning of life. Like just again, living life and be able to look back and say like, yep, I did everything I wanted to do, and like made the world a better place, and you can just be at peace. So.
Oh yeah, brother. I love it.
Yeah.
Austin, thanks again for doing this, my friend.
Yeah.
We'll do one last cheers.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. We'll call that an episode. Until next time.
Sounds good.
Who made it, dude?
That's fun.